Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Goffstown High School, where the Concord Crimson Tide take on the Goffstown Grizzlies. My name is Scott Gross, and this afternoon I'm joined by Steve Largy. Steve, what a beautiful fall day. It's about, 65, 70 degrees. Great day for a game.
First Saturday in fall, a beautiful day, Saturday afternoon football.
So today we've got a matchup between a 2-1 Concord team and Goffstown, for the first time in a long time, is looking at an 0-3 record, certainly a rebuilding year. What can we expect, you think, from Concord today?
Concord's a strong team. They've started the season off 2-1, and they've got some really good athletes in the backfield. A quarterback with a little bit of experience in the position in Zach Miles. Probably one of the best backs in the state in Isaac Gladdy. It's going to be a tough matchup, but at the same time, a game I think that's after coming off of a tough one against Bedford, should be an easier matchup for the Grizzlies.
Yeah, no doubt. I went to that game last week in Bedford, and Goffstown actually played pretty well in that first half. Actually, they played very well in the first quarter. But, unfortunately, Bedford's power and, more importantly, Bedford's speed and just overall talent prevailed the night. And Goffstown, lost kind of handily in that respect. One of the challenges for Goffstown this year is, they lost a lot of seniors off their squad. But in terms of their offense and their defense, it's about getting those right combinations between those skill players, especially on the receiving side. I think Goffstown has some pretty good receivers, but they just have not connected. Charlie Keith has not been able to connect on some bigger plays.
Especially when you lose a big piece of your offense like Andrew Duval. I mean, that's a tough void to fill. After the coin toss, Concord has won the toss. They've elected to receive, and Goffstown will defend the south end zone.
So some of the players to watch for Goffstown today, obviously Charlie Keith, a quarterback. He's a senior. I'd like to see it's relatively quiet has been Putnam this year. He's only been thrown to a handful of times, but he had a really good year last year and just hasn't really been a big part of the offense this year. It's been mostly they're trying to establish the run through that option, and because of that, because the run has been stopped, Steve, they really haven't been able to throw off of it. That's the key.
The identity is, when you're playing a spread offense like that, you have to have some run plays to get you some momentum and also to keep the defense honest. If you're slinging it around and you don't necessarily have the ability on the outside to complete those passes, it can be tough. And right now they're still looking for chemistry. They've played three really tough opponents, to be fair, in the first 3 weeks in Merrimack, North, teams that are doing really well right now.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. I'll tell you, it was a totally different vibe for me being on the sideline last week. I just love being with the players. Learned a lot about the team, and we'll talk more about that as we proceed today. Here's the kickoff.
The kickoff back deep is Gladdy. He
He's pinned.
Fumbles it, picks it up at the 3. He's got a hole, and he brings it out to the 25-yard line.
You know, and I tell you, Gladdy, for really being pinned in that coffin corner, shall they say, he was able to bring it out to the 25 for a pretty good return. One of the things for Goffstown is that they've had a problem with tackling. And I've seen that in the first 3 games. They need to kind of wrap up. They did a great job in that first quarter against Bedford, but as the game went on, again, they just got to wrap up.
Miles in the huddle, giving his team the play. We'll see some spread offense today out of the Crimson Tide.
So you see safety Ben Dodge, number 7. He's playing pretty close to the line of scrimmage. Puts a lot of pressure on your corners.
It's fake to Gladdy. Miles rolls out, and he hits Guy Kabate.
Yeah, and that was for Goffstown, number 22, Colby Putnam on the tackle. But that's a 5-yard pickup.
Concord always has dual backs and 2 kids that can really threaten in terms of their speed and athleticism in Gladdy and Kabate.
You know, talking about Goffstown's defense, you know, one of the challenges is really just youth and inexperience. And you'll see that in terms of their defense, a lot of those guys were seniors.
Miles takes it again, keeps it on a handoff out to the 42-yard line, out of bounds there.
And he picks up a first down at around the 40-yard line. And that looked almost too easy for Concord. And that was a misdirection play, Steve, and I think it had me a little bit faked.
Looked like a zone read fake, and he was pulling it the whole way. Zach Miles just said he saw that end commit, and he took the edge.
And that's going to be one of the challenges probably for Goffstown is trying to, how do you shore up Gladdy, because he looks pretty quick.
3 receiver set here to our side.
There's the pitch.
Pitch to Gladdy.
He cuts inside but gets nowhere.
Great
Number
tackle.
78 for Goffstown. Is that Watkins? 54, I apologize,
54.
Fragos and Cuddy.
Fragos did a great job staying in his lane there. Gladdy cut it back, and there was just no room to go at all. Miles waiting for the play now.
And that's where, you know, Goffstown has been a little bit suspect in those cutbacks. Because you got to stay in your lanes, and Goffstown just has been giving up a lot of big plays on cutbacks. But Cuddy was right there, and Fragos.
Still spread, 3 receiver set. Miles drops, pass out here in the flat.
Great pass. That's going to be a first down to number 9.
Adrian Kennedy right at the sticks. That's an 11-yard gain, and it's good for a first down.
And you saw right off the bat, you knew that the cornerback on that situation got beat, because he knew it. As soon as Kennedy went out into the flat, he's like, took the wrong angle.
And so far we've had 3 play-action plays right out of the gate for Concord.
Yeah.
Really making use of those fakes and those zone pulls.
A 3-man rush for Goffstown. He's got a
Miles has Gladdy. He finds him.
What a
Gladdy
move.
makes a cut down at the 39-yard line.
And that's a tackle by number 33, Jack Stinnett.
It's right at the sticks.
I think that's another first. It is.
And it is a first down.
A really nice job by Concord, I think, so far in terms of spacing the field. You know, there's not a whole lot of, you know, a lot of guys. So there's a lot of open field for their running back or for their receivers.
And they've spread it around too.
Yep.
A balanced ace set here for the Crimson Tide. Miles takes the snap. He pulls it again.
He cuts inside. And
cut
there's
back.
a fumble.
Fumble.
He gets it back, though, I think. I think he got it back.
Miles was at the bottom of it.
But, Steve, that was another example of on the cutback, you know. So he cuts it back and picks up another 7 or 8 yards. And that ball will be at around the 30-yard line, and that'll be a short second down and 1.
Second and short here for the Crimson Tide. And that situation, Fragos is doing his job. You know, he makes him cut back, and a linebacker's got to fill in that situation.
Yeah, Fragos has been playing pretty well this year in the games that I've watched. He's also a cheerleader on the sidelines.
Spread set.
Keeper by the quarterback.
Miles keeps it again.
And a short tackle by number 7 for Goffstown. That was Ben Dodge.
Miles is electing to pull on a lot of these rather than and hand it to Gladdy. Gladdy is usually the one that's carrying the mail.
Yeah.
But they obviously see something in the Goffstown defense where Miles is calling his own number.
Maybe Goffstown's just keying in on Gladdy, right? So
it could very well be. I mean, I'm sure that was a focus of Scout this week. Balance set now. 2 receivers each side. Miles rolls right. And he's
great
wrapped
tackle
up
by Cuddy.
78. Evan
Cuddy. That was really showed off his quickness there. Bowing to the audience. So
good to see a little emotion there from the Goffstown defense.
Yeah, this is really they need their front 3 have the potential to make some plays here, and it's a young linebacking core and arguably almost 4 all-state caliber linebackers last year. 3 of them did make it, and I could argue all 4 should have. So
that's tough to replace.
Exactly.
The stack receiver set here for Concord.
Gladdy.
This time they hand it to Gladdy, and the defense is there. They swarm.
So again, Cuddy is in there once again, so he's showing off today. He's been on, 3 tackles already in this first drive alone.
And that makes it 3rd and long here for the Crimson Tide.
Yeah, it's a bit windy here, and maybe that's another reason why you might not be seeing a whole lot of passes. I'd say the wind is probably blowing about 15 miles an hour.
Definitely a passing situation here for the Crimson Tide. 3rd and long, probably 4-down territory and inside the 30.
And here you got to watch the lower part of your screen, number 9 for Concord.
Another play action to Gladdy. Miles rolls. He has a man 5 open.
And
did he stay in bounds?
Catch.
It is a catch.
Yep.
Complete to Vandersea.
And that one, you can't be that wide open. It was a crossing right, it looked like, but
yeah, it looked like they got linebackers to bite on that play fake.
So now it's going to be a 4th down and 3. Concord will go for it, especially with such a robust wind here. I don't know if you want to try to kick a field goal. The wind looks like it's blowing from right to left.
Some options here with 4th and short. They could run it.
Yeah, I think the option play is perfect here, especially with how successful they've been.
The trip set left with Gladdy set that way. Miles is going to roll. He's looking out.
If he misses
it, can't make the play there. He's still rolling out. It looks like Goffstown. Colby Putnam makes the play.
So that'll be a turnover on downs for Goffstown. So Goffstown's defense, I would say, it breaks, but it does not bend, right? Or bends but doesn't break. So the other way around. But
you'd rather bend and not break than
exactly.
break and bend. Yeah.
Yep.
Yes, that time they did stand tall, which is important to get that first drive to stall out for Concord. Charlie Keith set in the backfield now. The balanced ace set in the spread.
Same defensive set for Concord as Goffstown was playing.
A play fake, and the ball is knocked down at the line of scrimmage.
And I'm trying to see who knocked that down. Number 63, it looked like. Augustine Kwamwiba. Hopefully I got your name pronounced right.
Keith was looking for Dodge over the middle on that slant and just didn't get over the line. Keith back, trips left. This time it's handed to Stinnett. Big gain up the middle.
He's
to the
tackled,
38-yard line.
He's tackled by Concord's Zach Miles. So it looks like Miles is going 2 ways here, right? Safety and QB.
It's very common in New Hampshire high school football to see these guys, especially your elite athletes, going 2 ways. Maybe not the quarterback, but trips again. Keith rolls. He's got Putnam. He hits him. Nice move by Colby Putnam, right? And he crosses midfield to the 48-yard line.
I'll be candid with you. That you just don't see that. We have not seen that enough, Steve. In terms of their offensive play calling, because Putnam's got some pretty good hands.
And he got some space out there as well, Scott. He great roll and confident throw there by Charlie.
And he's very strong, too, so he can break a tackle.
We got trips right now. And we got a pull there by Charlie Keith. And he's rolling, and nobody
that?
There. I think he was getting rid of it. A little crossed up there. I think Sean Lay, he may have gone to throw a block there. Wasn't sure if Charlie was going to pull it down and run with that.
Or was that a situation where Leahy should have gone out there for the pass?
Yeah,
that's what it looked like.
I think Keith was trying to keep that going and roll out, and Leahy was kind of in between two minds there. Balanced ace formation. Keith pulls it. He makes a cut. He holds on to the ball. He gets up to close to the 40-yard line, about the 42.
And that's number 70 for Concord, Nicholas French.
We got a 3rd down and about 4 right now for Goffstown at the 42-yard line. Trips right. Try to draw them offside. Charlie Keith gets the play, resets. Putnam isolated here on the low side. Handed. Stinnett up the middle. A big gain, good for a 1st down.
And that's tackle by number 8. That would be Isaac Gladdy.
10-yard
number
gain
9,
right
I
up the
apologize. That was Adrian Kennedy. My bad. Number 9, Kennedy.
Trips right here for Goffstown. They go tempo. Oh, we had a false start here. It looks like some movement on the offense. Looks like that snap just didn't get out in time.
And it was a weird snap too, right? It was.
Sometimes when you go tempo, your line's not quite ready. They haven't caught up to some of the other guys yet, so that'll set them back 5 yards. It'll be 1st and 15 now. Stinnett to the right in the backfield. Balanced ace formation, motion here. It's handed. Sean Leahy with a nice gain on the outside.
And that was number 8 on that tackle. So they're playing a lot of players 2 ways here for Concord.
About an 8-yard gain. Makes up the lost distance on the penalty.
Goffstown's offensive line is making some headway here. I mean, there's some pretty big holes.
Right. Yeah, Concord, I mean, matches up interestingly because their issue has been, sort of the middle of the field as well and on the line and in the trenches. Stinnett up the middle. Wrapped up there. He gets about a 6-yard gain, really close to 1st down yardage. It's going to be a 3rd and 1.
That was Gavin Brown on the tackle.
Big 3rd down here for Goffstown. Stinnett to the right in the backfield. Charlie. He pulls it.
Yeah, but 59 was
He's
all
keeping his
over
legs
him.
moving. He's very close. Might have picked up with the second effort.
Yeah, Peter Sargent had him, though, and Charlie Keith's strong legs bowled forward.
That's an important play for Charlie Keith right there to pick up that 1st down.
Yeah, especially since they had that 5-yard penalty. They had to pick up 15.
And it looked like he was going to get hit in the backfield there. Stinnett up them fake. And then it's passed out to the flat here.
So that's a little bit of a letdown here. I'm just going to say it. So number 4, Sean Leahy, could not hold that block,
Right.
So, and because of that, if he's able to hold that block, that's a big, big play.
Yeah, it's a little outside screen for Dodge there, and you're relying on your receivers to at least block one guy for you. Yeah, Trips right here. Stinnett up the middle. Makes a cut.
Yeah, 63 wrapped him up hard. Again, Augustine Kumwiba.
He stood up. A loss on the last play, and now it's going to be about 3rd and 10.
Yeah, and although here's what, if you're Goffstown, you're too far away with a field goal, I think. But you got to think about just picking up a chunk of yards because you're going to go for it on 4th.
Yeah. Putnam isolated down here on the low side. Keith's going to roll right. He's got Dodge in the flat. He wheels out. He has him. And that's going to be good for a 1st down. Completion down to Dodge at the 5-yard line. Oh, incomplete.
Incomplete?
No,
There's no way that's incomplete.
He's marking the spot.
Yeah.
He's marking the spot there.
So he actually had 2 people that he could throw to on that play. Hinault was open.
Great play call there by the offensive staff. It's up the middle to Stinnett, and he
he's
gets in the end zone.
Yep. So
inside zone handoff there, 5-yard touchdown for Jack Stinnett.
So what I saw on that whole drive, I'll give the number 1 thing that I saw was the offensive line had a lot of push. They were creating a lot of holes for Charlie Keith and Stinnett. And then we finally saw some different looks on the offensive side of the ball where they're looking almost to throw the ball.
you get 3 or 4 weeks into the season, you almost need
that's
some
a false
movement on the
start
offensive
again,
line.
yeah.
Oh, and they had a fake set up there.
They did.
And it was going to work.
Yeah.
So that movement, oh, it's on the defense, though, it looks like. It's offsides against the defense. Yeah. Almost didn't want him to jump there because they had a pretty good play set up there and looked like that was going to go for 2.
And looks like they're trying they're subbing in
now
another player.
Yeah, they're going to go straight up for 2 now.
Yeah, now they only have, what, a yard to go now?
A yard to go here.
Yeah.
So
and how well you've been running. Maybe you just load it up there with Stinnett and see if he can get in there.
It seems like a good idea to me, and I think Justin Huff probably sees what you're seeing.
And what I'm seeing here is a lot of beef on the line. Look! It's almost like look at. There's a lot of bigger guys.
Yeah, you got basically a fullback in 43 that's lined up as a wingback here. And they're going to punch it in over the middle, but they are stood up there.
And
he does not get in.
Interesting.
Great stand by Concord. That's exactly what they were looking for. They tried to block it on the weak side, and Concord held out.
But a good first drive, Steve, by the Grizzlies.
Great first drive, yeah.
I think they're going to need to do this. I mean, in my personal opinion, this is going to be probably a game of offenses, the way it looks like.
And I also think it's probably losing all of the personnel that they did from last year. It's going to take some weeks to get into the playbook. You know, they're getting some new guys up to speed that are in positions that they weren't in last year. It takes, especially with a shortened schedule season this year in NHIAA, it takes teams a while to catch up, especially if they're reloading on the offensive and defensive side.
Funny you mentioned that in terms of, they need some time to be together. When I was on the field against the Bedford game last week, I heard a lot of the linebackers especially saying that they're not communicating well. So there's defensive play calling, and when there's like stunts that are being called, some guys don't know it, therefore they're not filling in that space.
And that's time. It's frustrating as a coaching staff, and it's frustrating with players that have been there on the field. But it takes time. It's not going to happen overnight, especially when you have guys that just haven't had that experience because they had such a great group in there last year.
And guys playing with each other. Like, you're talking about a group last year that played with each other for probably 10 years.
Exactly. So Gibson set to kick here. This one stays on the tee. Back deep.
He touched it, so he's going to have to come out.
Kabate, it did go through his hands into the end zone, so they're going to call that a touchback.
Okay.
Kabate wanted to bring that out, but that's probably in his best interest that the referee blew it dead. He wasn't going to get very far.
Interestingly, Goffstown on special teams has also been challenged. They've had some issues covering kicks. And their kickoff returns, if you remember over the last several years, it was that razzle-dazzle play. They've attempted that this year, but just have not had as much success.
Well, you can see, too. I mean, just
speed. You got to have the speed for it.
You got to have speed and just the communication and being in sync. And if it's not there, you have to simplify some things. Zach Miles pulls it down. He rolls.
Yeah.
He gets to the outside. He gets the edge here. And
that's a beautiful play because I think it was Josh Juneau on that one where it was a stutter step, and it enabled Miles to kind of get outside. So he stutter stepped him on that cutback.
Right, exactly. And he's able to cut to the outside. That your responsibility there is contained.
It's contained, which is what he does.
Yeah. We got Miles and Gladdy in the backfield here. Balance formation. Handoff is to Gladdy. He gets the edge, but the ball's out. And Vandersea falls on it.
So that was 43 Hager, I think, got his hand in on that one. Keith is also in the game, and Baxter was in on that. So good job by the linebacking core.
Well, one major negative, a big blow for Concord, is Gladdy coming off with an injury here. We'll see a lot of Kabate in the backfield most likely now. Now it's actually going to be number 28, who is Joseph Gamaranzi. Miles rolls out, tucks it, throws incomplete. And that was 3rd and short there, so that's going to bring up 4th down for the Crimson Tide. Exactly right. Miles was looking for some daylight there so he could pick up that yardage.
So I think the QB also is the punter, from what I heard from talking with the coaching staff. And I have to say, this is like my 3rd year doing this, that such professionalism, these coaching staffs all around the state, they're so nice and to us at GTV in terms of helping us out with not only helping pronounce names, but just trying to help us do a better job broadcasting these games. So I give a shout out to Concord's coaching staff. They're not gonna go for it. They're gonna do a pooch kick here.
That's what you have when you have the quarterback who also can kick it. Keeps you honest.
Yep.
I'm sure the coaching staff saw that on film this week, but at the same time, you don't want to mess around too much. It's 3rd and short in case they do go for it. Great punt there.
See that a lot, in high school football in those situations. And something, even if you don't have a quarterback who can punt, if you can kind of pooch it 25, 30 yards and hopefully get a good roll, you're guaranteed that no one is going to return it, and that's another biggie.
Well, especially you're flipping field position there. So, you're kind of pinned not too deep, but at the 30-yard line, Miles is able to pin him back on the other side of the field.
And we got too many men on the field or something, or what? Nothing happened there.
Possibly some motion.
Formation issue?
I think, maybe we're covering up the tackle here.
Yeah, so that would be number 80.
He's got to be off the line.
Right? That would be Paez?
Yep. So he's got to be just off the line so he's not covering up that tackle.
Or he has to report? Or how does that work?
Oh, yeah. So he's bunched here. We got a pitch outside.
It's a horrible pitch. I'm sorry, but that was brutal.
Unfortunately, that pitch was out in front, so they don't have a fumble there.
That'll be a forward pass, but that was not pretty.
Good play set up there.
No,
though.
I do. I like the play. Yep. The execution was another story.
Trips on the outside here, and you're trying to get the edge with 3 blocking 2. Just a little bit ahead on the pitch there. Still with the bunch formation here. Keith with the keep.
And he's gang tackled.
Gets back to the original line of scrimmage, and that's about it.
Let me see who got that one. It was Thompson. It looked like Sargent in on that tackle as well. I'm surprised, actually, that they haven't been able to stop Goffstown. Concord has on the run, so I would just keep doing what you're doing until they stop you.
Well, and this is probably the first time that Goffstown hasn't seen a mismatch in terms of the line. I think it's a pretty even match in terms of size and line. It's tipped.
He got tipped, yeah.
Intended for Leahy. Keith's pass tipped there. That's going to bring up 4th down.
That'll be a punting situation. We should see Eric Lefebvre come out. I tell you, it has been a story punting here. So Lefebvre has a great leg, but in order to punt the ball, you got to snap it. And whoa, I mean, it's a coin toss as to whether or not Lefebvre is going to get a ball to handle. So big pressure on the long snapper here to execute.
So that snap is good. Lefebvre kicks it deep. Good leg.
And it's a fair catch.
Fair catch here by Miles. Miles does it all.
Yeah.
Offense, defense, returns punts, punts the football.
Any is Gladdy back in the game, or he's right here in front of us?
Yeah,
he's
kind
of
of
limping
helmet
a little
off
bit
right now. So
he doesn't look worse for the wear, but
he's still.
It's an ankle that he's holding. And if you're a running back and you got a tender ankle, pretty difficult.
Well, we have 2 teams trading field position back and forth here. We have Concord starting the ball with the ball on the 36-yard line.
So now Goffstown's defense it's a change up here.
Balance 4 receiver set. And we have a handoff right away to the new running back.
By number 34 for Goffstown. That's Brad Baxter. Got in there. And this is what we have not seen, and you're probably right, Steve. It's a byproduct of a more even matchup on the lines, because I'm telling you, I have not seen too many backfield tackles in the 3 games that I've watched.
And I think it's also a product of Concord. you know, their schedule, you know, they beat a good South team early in the season, and that's a major win for them. You know, they also lost to Bedford. And that's another tackle in the backfield there. It's
by
Stinnett.
number 33, Stinnett. So you're seeing Stinnett and Juneau, who are running backs for Goffstown, also playing linebacker. And Stinnett was also with the backfield tackle. That's a loss. So you're going to see like a 3rd and like 16.
And that's all the time we have left in the first quarter. So it's going to be second quarter, and Concord's going to maintain possession on the 30-yard line.
So that was a really quick first quarter, I thought.
It's kind of what we thought,
if
though,
if you're operating that concession stand, you want long quarters, right?
That's true.
And we certainly did not, right? And if you're an hourly camera operator, like Broden here, so for those of you who don't know, my partner, well, you're my partner today, Steve, but
I'm
Alan,
off the bench.
Alan Potvin is out this week. And we were going to joke around saying that he got fined or something, but he didn't. He's just visiting with his daughter who plays rugby, and he has yet to see her play because the games coincide with these games. And I think he finally got his priorities straight and went to see his daughter down at UMass Lowell.
Well, he is heavily relied on up here in the box, and I'm happy to do my part when the opportunity calls.
Well, the thing with you is that you make us look bad, Steve. I mean, you're so talented that it's like, oh, there goes our jobs.
I don't know about talented, but we have a deep bench all around at GTV.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that we could be short a cameraman and play-by-play guy just speaks to the quality product that we provide here at GTV.
Yeah, and Adam McCune, he's on the injured reserve. I think he tripped over a stroller or something, and
there's got to be a story there. Miles in the backfield, a long 3rd down here for Concord.
He's
under pursuit.
Gobbled up.
Great job by the line.
Yeah, see, the issue there was that
go.
Not only did the line, but that is a secondary sack as far as I'm concerned, because the coverage was awesome.
Part of this too is, you know, without Gladdy in the game, you can be a little bit more aggressive.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about his speed on the field and where he is. That's going to pin them back. It's going to hopefully flip field position in favor of Goffstown.
So
here.
number 7 for Goffstown, Ben Dodge, will be back there to receive the punt.
Dodge with his heels on the 45-yard line.
I'd come in a little bit with the wind, but that's just my opinion.
Miles again punting.
That's blocked. That got blocked. Stay away from it.
Yeah.
What was Putnam even thinking there? I'm being dead serious. What is Putnam even thinking?
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm sure he'll get asked that by the coaching staff.
I mean, if that ball goes off his leg.
Yeah, that's a live ball.
Live ball. You know, I mean.
Well, you did say he wanted to touch the ball more.
And he did. He got that great reception, but you got to be smart on that one.
And honestly, there should be a yell immediately.
Yeah.
If there's a block or a squib, somebody should be yelling, poison. Get out of the way.
You don't. I'll tell you though, that is one of the things that I have seen a lot. That's probably the 4th or 5th time I've seen something like that in Goffstown in this short season.
On a positive note for Goffstown, they start with great field position. Charlie Keith has to roll out.
He should run. He should just run and throw it away.
Space. He makes the throw. Great throw and catch there. Caught by Leahy. Keith really makes the play stay alive there with his legs.
And I got to give Charlie Keith a ton of credit there, because I thought that he was going to get perhaps sacked for a loss.
He
or
saw that pursuit early. That was not a design play. We got trips here. Oh, and then we've got a false start.
Here we go again.
On the end here, believe it was Hanault on the outside. Got a little excited. Again, when you go tempo, sometimes it's you put yourself in a tough position.
We've had, what, like 3 of those, right?
Yeah. So
the sound that you might be hearing in our microphones is the wind. It is a pretty windy day here in Goffstown. I don't think it's the remnants of Florence or something, but it's windy.
It is a nice fall day. Trips right. Stinnett in the backfield to the left. Keith pulls, makes a nice cut, makes one guy miss, and then he's stacked up there right about the 10-yard line.
I think about 5 yards in that?
About 5 yards.
Yeah.
Looks like they picked up the lost distance from the penalty. It's going to be 2nd and 10 from the 10.
You know, it's interesting. I wonder if Goffstown does like a play action, because I think that
this is tough to operate. I mean, you can get a first down here, but it's almost like a 4 downs and goal type situation. Looking for that slant over the middle, looking for Putnam there.
But that was like, I don't know if the ball got tipped or that was just a bad throw, but that had no prayer. Yeah.
You know, and part of it is the timing.
Yeah.
You know, you're trying to get timing on that slant route, and if the snap exchange isn't perfect and he's not able to get it out of his hand quick enough, the timing's going to be off.
So was it a 3rd and about 10 from the 11-yard line?
3rd and 10. So they can get a first down here, but it looks like the stick is inside the 1. They roll out. We got trips here. He's looking for Leahy.
He's got nobody.
He's going to throw back across the field.
And that's a horrible, I'm sorry, but he threw right into coverage there. So
yeah,
I mean, there was nobody there.
He was looking for Putnam, who was coming all the way across the field.
I saw that, but that's not a ball you throw.
Rule of thumb there, you don't throw back to the middle of the field if you're rolling.
Yep.
You know, that's what they're going to tell the quarterback, and I'm sure Charlie's heard it before, and he'll hear it again.
That's one where you either try to get run it and get as much as you can, or throw it away. Because the thing that you don't want to do is you don't want a turnover, because essentially you're looking here about a 28-yard field goal. Gibson has the leg for this. It's a bit windy, though, today. Looking for the snap.
That hold is down,
blocked.
but that kick never gets up.
Because the snap was pretty high.
Tough
and
snap.
And the timing was off.
Looks like Leahy did a pretty good job.
And that's going to be, we're going to have a problem.
We have a live ball here.
Yeah.
The refs did not blow it dead. We have a foot race, but it looks like Adrian Kennedy is going to go all the way into the end zone. Oh, wow. Yeah, we're going to need some replay, I think, on that, as the ball never was touched and therefore was live the whole way.
What do you mean never was touched? By the defense?
So it was live on the field. So it's a missed field goal, just like a block punt.
Jeez.
Is a live ball.
Right.
So because the defense never fell on it or touched it, it stays live, and Concord very heads up recovers it and takes it down all the way. They even up the score here.
So it's hard to say what happened on that, but
that's crazy.
You'd argue that that's a lapse of judgment, I guess, on our part.
It's a rare situation. It's unusual. You really don't maybe go over that in practice. Conventional 1-point opportunity here, and that kick is up, and
it's
good.
Good. Yeah. So Goffstown with that play now trails 7-6. So you talk about a twist of fortune for Goffstown.
Wow.
You know, they could have gone up pretty much 9-0, and now they are trailing 7-6.
And this is where not having a kicking game can really hurt you.
Yeah. Well, they do have a kicking game, I think. I think Gibson can kick the ball. It's just that was a high snap.
A very unusual turn of events there.
And that, you talk about silencing the crowd. Ooh, holy cow.
You're going in for 3, and you give up 7 on one play.
And who was it? I think it was number 80 for Goffstown. That was Jose Paez.
The key part of that play there is Adrian Kennedy being smart enough to stay with the ball. We've seen a little bit of that in college football.
We saw that with Arkansas, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just was it last week or 2 weeks ago?
Last week,
I think. Last week. You know, being aware, and sometimes coaches will go over that in special teams situations and say, hey, if the ball's live and it's not touched, pick it up, scoop and score.
Here's the key. Whistle, right?
Exactly.
You play
to the whistle.
You play to the whistle, and if there's no whistle that's heard, that's like almost like a
kick here. It's live as well.
Jeff Hager has made a fortune this season on those plays. They are kicking it very short to Goffstown this season, and Hager has been the recipient of
tested.
Yes, he has been.
Yeah, sometimes that's seen on film, and maybe we try to kick it short into that no man's land.
You got it. But in that situation, you're giving up
some field position,
quite a bit of field position. So Goffstown has had a good offensive drive so far.
Yeah, they've been able to move the ball almost every single time they've had it.
And number 8 comes out for Concord.
This time the ball's handed off to number 26 up the middle. Josh Juneau, nice gain.
Josh Juneau is
Almost
having a
20
heck of a
yards.
game. Keeps his feet going. He got almost tripped up 2 times on that one, but kept going.
Charlie Keith gets him up to the line quick. They got trips left. They're going fast. Concord's not even set on the line. Juneau gets up.
He picks up another probably almost 10 yards.
Yeah, 10 plus. I think that's going to be a first down again.
So Juneau, one-man wrecking crew on this drive.
And get ready, we're going again, Scott.
Yeah, you're not giving the defense a time to set.
I love this tempo. I love playing like this.
Timeout now. They're going to call timeout.
You know who doesn't like this tempo?
Concord.
Is Coach Eric Brown.
Yeah.
And he's going to put a stop to it.
And I tell you something, after that little change of fortune for Goffstown, it's good to see that their offense is coming out on all cylinders here, and it's picked up like 40 yards pretty quickly.
I was curious today to see how they responded to being 0-3, to being in a situation where, yes, you're playing an opponent that is 2-1, but somebody that you can line up against and probably compete with, especially more than Bedford.
But take a look, though, Steve, at who are the players who are kind of making a statement today. Josh Juneau, Jack Stinnett, Cuddy, seniors. This is these guys have had years of rich wins. A lot of victories, and it must be tough for them going 0-3. But this is their time now to prove themselves and say, hey, we're not going down without a fight.
Goffstown set, trips right. It's Juneau again,
but he's stuffed.
Ball is
loose, no?
Out. And he's marked down at the 31-yard line, so no gain on the play.
And we're going to be, I know Coach Huff, his tendency, so I think no matter what happens here, there will be 4th down opportunities, so at the 30-yard line.
4-down territory.
Yep.
That's a pull by Keith. He got some room up the middle.
Great play.
Nice
first.
spin.
I think it's a first down or close to it.
His second efforts today have really been helping
very
them.
Close to a first down. It'll be a 3rd down and a short 1 yard to go.
They're going quick again. Juneau in the backfield. We got trips right. Either Keith or Juneau.
Juneau's got it. He keeps pushing and pushing and pushing.
Great
Look at him go, man.
Effort.
Holy cow.
That's a statement right there. Statement run. 2 in a row there by Juneau and Charlie Keith.
Well, you know what?
Finishing their runs.
I'm just going to say this. I'll wait till after this play.
We got Juneau again, and that time Concord's ready for it.
So I'm in the Blue Moose. I'm picking up some cupcakes for our kickoff. We have a halftime where we do kicks for cupcakes.
They told me you'd just been in there. You beat me there.
I beat you in there. And I happened to run into Josh Juneau's girlfriend in there.
And Keith keeps it this time. Still on the ground. And second effort again. He wiggles out of the first tackle.
It's going to be close to around the 9-yard line. So I'm talking to his girlfriend, and I'm like, I like Josh a lot because he runs north-south.
Yep.
And he is tough to bring down. And sure enough, he's proving my words correct this afternoon.
Numbers getting called today. He did a good job last year coming in the backfield. Stinnett went down in that Central game, and he's had some time back there. Keith again, more of the same, zone read. He takes to the outside.
But in that situation there, it's Adrian Kennedy wraps him up. So now what does Goffstown do? Do you try to kick another field goal? I think you do.
I don't know. I think they might be a little gun shy after
yeah, but
what
you're
just happened.
You're going to be 4 yards away, and you're so close.
They are sending on the kicking unit.
I mean, you got to be able to kick these type of field goals in Division I high school football.
I don't disagree with you.
So, I mean, I think now they're all probably more sensitive to the fact that the ball, you don't stop until you hear the whistle. But I still think you go for the kick here.
And
that one looks good, though.
Good.
Excellent kick by David Gibson, number 38.
Great kick, great hold, great snap.
So there you go. Goffstown goes ahead 9-7 with under 7 minutes to play in the first half. So a really awesome drive by the Goffstown Grizzlies. And we got to talk about the offensive line here. We could talk about Josh Juneau all we want, or Jack Stinnett all we want, or Charlie Keith, but you don't get those holes unless your offensive line is doing the work. And the other thing too, you saw that Charlie Keith did a really good job on that drive reading the defense. So it's his job is to read that defense and pull the ball back and keep it himself or hand it off, and he's reading the defense real well.
7 plays, 7 runs on that drive for Goffstown. I don't think the ball went in the air once. So there are a lot of confidence on the ground. Good display of confidence in the kicking game by setting him back out there. Not sure I would have done that. But I give the coaching staff credit for doing that. I always like going for it down there.
So Goffstown kicks it off deep to Kabati.
He's got some speed. They seem to be bunched around him.
And he'll get to about the 33, 34-yard line, so good coverage on that kickoff by Goffstown.
Looks
Tackle
like Dodge
made
on the bottom.
By Ben Dodge, Ben Dodge, he is all over the place, and he kind of has to be. Plays safety for the Grizzlies, and with a relatively we've got a newcomer, Teixeira, who is a cornerback, puts that much pressure on your safety.
So glad he is back in the game in the backfield. He does look like he's still limping and feeling the effects of that leg.
And it's a pass.
Miles rolls out, great with his legs. Nice pass over the middle to Kabate.
And on the tackle for Goffstown is Jarrett Hinault.
And that's gain of about 9 or 10.
And it
be
looks
close
like it's
to
about
first down yardage.
First down, yeah. They're waving them,
waving the sticks on. Shane Crew getting a good workout. Both sides of the field are moving the ball.
And the thing for Concord, which works for them, is that when they can roll their quarterback out, it gives him so many options. He can run with it, or he can pass off of it, and it's been very, very helpful for him.
I think it's also helpful for him in terms of his size and his makeup as a quarterback. He's quick. He can use his legs.
And we're going to get a hold here on Concord. It looks like number 70 may have been holding on that. Now, if that was, it was Nick French, if it's a hold.
For the most part, penalty-free day. Not a lot of flags.
Goffstown had a lot of, what was that? A
little false starts.
False starts in that first period.
You got a 10-yard. It's holding, so it'll be backed up 10 yards from the spot.
And it was weird because you could see it was Nick French. I think as soon as the play was whistled, he kind of slammed his hands on his thighs, saying, "Oh, you got me." That's tough too, being an offensive lineman.
Yeah, you're getting that rhythm, and sometimes when you go quick, it's hard to get yourself ready. But I think that's something you work on in practice, and I like it. I like being able to line up quickly and go.
So over the ball is one of the captains, Nick Fragos, who's had a good game today, as well as Cuddy.
4 receivers set. Right now you've got Kabate in motion. Miles drops deep.
Watch out
he
for
rolls
6.
Back
Gotta
out.
Watch out for 6.
Great contain here on the play. They're going to string that out. And he's out of bounds after maybe a gain of 2.
Yeah, and that was number 3. Jarrett Hinault was in there pushing him out of bounds.
So we're setting up here a 2nd and 18.
And what I liked on that was that the secondary just stood with the receivers throughout. And that's been, I'm telling you, that's been an issue for Goffstown, is that their secondary sometimes gives up on that receiver, and then all of a sudden they get open in space and gone goodbye.
Coach Brown taking his time here a little bit.
Well, Putnam's about 10 yards off his guy, number 6.
Miles rolls right, looks up the field, and it is caught.
That's a great pass.
That throw just
right.
over
it was over Charlie Keith.
Charlie Keith.
Yeah, but that's a good throw. I mean, he put it right in between Charlie Keith and Jonathan Teixeira.
As Miles DeVandersee, that's one of his favorite targets out there. So on the move too, making that throw. Tough throw in traffic.
That wasn't necessarily bad defense. That was just an awesome throw. So now we've got, see on the defensive end, we've got Antonio Capos. He's a freshman.
Just a freshman. biggest kid on the field, though. Miles looks out.
He got in there, too. I don't know if you saw that, but he kind of got in there already.
Well, the coaching staff is very excited about this freshman class, and obviously tough start to the year this year, but a lot to be happy with what we're seeing at the JV and freshman levels. The future is bright.
And talent and players, they come in waves and bunches. I mean, every program sees that.
Except for Bedford.
Except for Bedford, yeah. They seem to grow them, right, in the fields.
And Pinkerton.
Well, Pinkerton has 3,500 kids to choose from. So
stacked receiver set.
Good
Miles
protection
drops.
by Concord.
He's got all day.
And
good coverage on the play there.
Yeah. So number 12 and number 7 for Goffstown. Number 12, Jonathan Teixeira. And Ben Dodge had great coverage on that play.
Had Kennedy bracketed. Kennedy's the guy that scooped up the missed field goal and ran it 95 yards for a touchdown.
So Teixeira is a sophomore, I believe. Number 12. Yeah, he's a sophomore, and they put him out there cornerback first game, and he's getting better and better every game.
Pistol set here. 2 wings in the game. Some misdirection. We got a counter play. Looks like Goffstown's ready for it.
Oh, what a tackle by Charlie Keith. He took him down like a bag of potatoes right there, man. Wow.
Counter play set up, but it looked like they sniffed it out. They were ready for it. That's going to bring up 4th down, most likely punting situation here.
There'll be another pooch. Ben Dodge will go back. You got to watch out that you still play D.
It is a weapon to be able to have a quarterback that can punt like this. As this looks like it could be easily a pass formation, too.
He's going to kick it. What is that?
A fair catch.
What was that? Why?
Fair catch. Well,
but why, though?
Always when in doubt.
All right.
When in doubt.
I'll give you that one. But
returnable kick, but maybe the line drive kind of surprised him a little bit. He'll get grilled on the sideline, but at the same time, as long as you're handling it.
Yeah, as long as you don't fumble it.
Even in the NFL, they have issues with that. New England Patriots still looking for a guy that can catch punts right now. Some time to drive here for the Grizzlies.
Yeah, 4 minutes until the half. They lead 9-7. And if it were not for that, I call it that weird play, they will have dominated this first half.
On the trips, he had him.
You got to catch that.
It was a catchable ball. A little bit behind him.
A little bit behind him, but Sean Lay, he's got to catch that.
They definitely had some matchups they wanted there.
He had 2 receivers open on that play. And he's had 2 receivers open on at least 3 or 4 plays that I've seen. So just have not really been able to connect, except for that one pass out into the flat to Putnam.
Charlie rolls out. He's
Throw it away.
Pursued,
that could be grounding.
It looks like they're saying incomplete.
All right, but you got to be. He waited too long on that. He held onto the ball too long.
He definitely did. He had the pursuit. 28 was closing on him really quick.
Yeah, 28.
Joseph Moranzi, the backup running back. He is. You can see why he's backing up Gladdy.
So now it's a long 3rd and 10 for Goffstown with 4 minutes to play. And if they can't do anything here, they'll be giving the ball back to Concord to see what they can do with 4 minutes to play.
Right, with lots of time on the clock.
So let's see if they throw the ball again. Rolling out.
Oh, and it's picked. Interception, return to the 15-yard line.
Again, just not a good throw, not a good decision by Charlie Keith there. I mean,
yeah, he floats that one.
Well,
it's tough rolling across your body like that.
But this is why, and he doesn't set his feet.
Right.
So, it's hard to throw the ball like 40 yards across your body and not setting your feet. So Charlie's he's got a strong arm, but not that strong, and you end up floating it.
Right, and that's exactly
what happened here. So now, a team that has played really, really well the first half has, could be going into halftime down.
Miles in the backfield. Glad he is back there with him. Hasn't really touched the ball since his injury.
He gets snuffed.
Swallowed up there
by number 34, Baxter, and number 39
That's a big
for Goffstown, Josh Picard. That's a loss of 3. That'll be 2nd and 13. Clock runs with 3:36 to play until the half.
The luxury that Eric Brown here has here is that he can wind this clock all the way down.
Yep.
And really kind of go in with the last possession of the half.
Well, it raises the question, if you're Goffstown, do you call timeouts here? I mean, I don't know. Typically you wouldn't, I guess, but.
Miles in the backfield, balance set for Concord, out of the spread. Miles rolls right as he so often does. He finds the tight end crossing the field.
Beautiful play, and they'll be down to
the 5-yard line.
Oh, like the 2-yard line, it looks like. So this is what happens when you throw an interception. The other team can come down and score. So Goffstown is in trouble here going into the half. 3 minutes to play. Concord will be, what, first and on the second 2-yard line.
2-yard line, completion of Ronan McGonigal.
That was a great route.
His first catch of the game.
By McGonigal.
Across the field.
I think if you give Concord's quarterback, if you're giving Miles time, he's going to do some damage.
The fake to Gladdy. He rolls across the other way. He's going in for the end zone.
He's
and
not
he looks
in.
like he's short.
He's short about the 2 or 3, right?
Yeah, just inside the 2-yard line. It's going to be second down there.
2nd and 3, maybe.
So Putnam and Keith did a good job of keeping him out of the end zone there. It's an important stop for Goffstown.
1-yard line. So they only have to go 1 yard here, and they'll pick up a touchdown. Do you just go right up the middle here?
Well, I mean, they don't have much of a power game.
Yeah.
You know, you have usually in years past you see Concord, you know,
going up the gut
with some eye or something like that, but they, you know, they don't have much beef on the line.
So they're killing clock, no doubt, and they don't want Goffstown to
take as much time as possible. Gives them some time to think this one over as well. Let's see if they draw something up for Gladdy. Still doesn't look 100%.
Yeah, the wind is kicking up here again. So for those of you, for a little bit of a recap, Goffstown has scored a touchdown, and they missed the extra point, and then on their another drive, they went all the way down. They attempted a field goal. That kick, I believe, was presumably blocked. The whistle never blew, and Concord player picked it up and ran about 90 yards for a touchdown. A little bit of a mental lapse for the Goffstown special teams there. Goffstown comes back down and immediately drives and kicks another field goal to bring it to a 9-7 game. And then just now, a couple of minutes ago, Charlie Keith throws an errant interception at about the probably 30-yard line, and Concord now is threatening to score. And there are 2nd and goal on the 1-yard line. And again, if I'm Concord here, I've got 2 weapons. I've got Miles and I've got Gladdy, and I'm putting the ball in their hands. So, number 4 or number 8 are touching the ball here.
They're both lined up in the backfield right now. Stack receivers set. Don't be surprised if we see Miles pull the ball. And he does, and he goes up the middle.
He gets tackled.
Using Gladdy as a lead blocker. He's short of the end zone.
Yeah, so good job by Goffstown's front 3. And Fragos, I believe, is one of them, number 39. And that was Josh Picard who was in on that one. So now we've got a 3rd and goal.
And a timeout on the other side.
Another timeout. Goffstown takes a breather. They're going to regroup. Still 3rd and goal.
So the timeout here is that Goffstown wants the ball back this half.
Right. Goffstown wants the ball back this half. That's one. And secondly, you want a fresh. You want fresh bodies, or you want to give you guys a little bit of a breather.
So score, no score. Justin Huff wants the last crack at it going into halftime, and they will return the kick in the second half as well. So situation where maybe you could score before halftime and then get the ball back. Ideally, you stop them here. We have a
the Goffstown student section is singing
little John Denver out of the
John Denver
student section. I played that in my class this week.
You did, and maybe that was inspiration.
Maybe they got wind of it down here. It's
maybe.
The unofficial Goffstown anthem.
Maybe it's the camera. Is there a camera in your classroom or something? A webcam or something?
Could be.
So here we go. Big defensive situation for Goffstown.
Decision time, too, for Eric Brown. What are you going to do? Are you going to give it to Gladdy? They do give it to him up the middle.
And he stops.
And there's nowhere for him
Fragos
to go.
right there. Nick Fragos stops. And now here's a bigger question. Now what do you do? Do you go for it? Now it's 4. I think they lost a yard on that. Are they going to kick it, or are they going to try to go for it? And I think you might see another timeout here.
Yeah, definitely timeout. Chance to get your offense back on the field here.
No, and I get that. I'm just curious as what do you think Concord's going to do? I mean, they've got now 4th down and almost 2 yards now. They're saying it's 1 yard, but it looks like it's a little bit more. They have been unsuccessful, Steve. So do they go for it and try to score a touchdown, or do they kick a field goal and go in potentially up at half?
Well, I think if you see them go for it, I don't think they're going to be running up the middle like they did in the previous 3 times, because there's just no room for them, and that's not who they are as a team. So I think if they do go, you're going to see Miles rolling out probably to his right into some space. Goffstown's probably got to play for that in right now. If I'm Concord, I'm kicking it here and taking the points.
Yeah, that's me too. I think you always try to put points on the board.
Especially before halftime.
Exactly.
And
that's what they're going to do.
To kick.
So number 5 will be
Vandersea.
Vandersea is the kicker.
Miles the holder, who does everything else.
He's
also
crazy,
holds
yeah.
kicks. Good hold.
That's a great kick. That thing could have went.
Vandersea.
That thing would have went for like 35, 40 yards.
That's a weapon right there.
So that's a 10-9 lead for Concord, and a good decision by Concord. That's Coach Eric Brown. Take your points. Go into halftime with a lead.
Hopefully.
And Goffstown will have the ball with 1:33 to go with, only 1 timeout.
1 timeout. Yeah, they burned 2 on that drive.
Yeah,
they did a great job of limiting the points on the board. I mean, 1st and goal from the 1.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think that speaks volumes for the defense, and more importantly, the defensive line really has done a great job, and that's, Paez, that's Picard, Cuddy. We've seen the freshman in there. So good job by them.
It's good to see them winning matchups on the line. I mean, that was one difference that you probably all 3 of their losses.
Yeah, but you're talking about you're giving up like a ton of not only size but speed as well.
Right. You take a team like North, who's doing a lot better than people expected them to do.
North, their running back, he's a sophomore.
Curtis Harris.
Curtis Harris. I love that kid, man. He was awesome.
He does it all. And you should see him on the basketball court, too.
Okay.
He's even better there. Same kick, pooch kick. And this time,
there you go. Now you got it to
we're running with it.
Right. So now you got it. And look, that's my man, right?
That's Hager.
Jeff Hager.
That's Hager. Hager's
my
ready.
Man, Jeff Hager.
Hager decides, you know what?
Right.
I'm tired
exactly.
of this.
But you know what? Jeff Hager gets 10, 12 yards on that. Now it's a relatively short field. And now you can run the ball if you want a little bit, So now you've got Gladdy, number 8, and he is like just limping. He is just not on.
Yeah, he's trying to work through it, and I think they're trying to have him loosen that up. But he'll be in coverage here. Trips left to the field side. We've got Stinnett up the middle.
Big hole.
Back to Stinnett, and
he fumbled it.
On the
he
ground.
fumbled it. And it's going to Concord.
They're waving.
It is going to Concord.
Pointing their way.
It is Concord's ball.
It is Concord's ball.
So Stinnett fumbles, and they had great field position, and now they turn it over to Concord at about the 40-yard line. So let's see what Concord.
Their quarterback is the one who came up with that.
Yeah.
Miles, who does everything else, also recovers the fumble there.
Real inopportune time to give up the ball for Goffstown with awesome field position, and now Concord has the ball at the 40-yard line. But let's keep in mind they had the ball at their own 30.
And now the goal is just to keep points off the board before halftime for Goffstown.
Right.
Concord comes to the line.
Can't give up a big play here. And this is what Goffstown's Achilles has been, is they've given up too many big plays.
The fake to Gladdy. Miles drops back. He's going to roll against his body.
There was nobody there, and he threw it into the ground. That's going to be intentional grounding, a good call. We saw it up here in the booth.
Might have a back, and he's saying
he threw it at the feet of the Goffstown lineman. So good call, and that'll be a loss of down as well. So
Eric Brown is protesting the call there as quarterback was outside the box, but it looked like he was throwing it directly at the ground.
Yep.
So he's going to lose that one.
Yeah, Eric Brown is kind of hot on this one.
You know, grounding's a rule where, I mean, you can see it both ways. Is he outside the pocket? Is he?
Right. It's the referee, though, who made the call on that.
Right.
So you're typically not going to get that one reversed.
Well, he had some help there,
yeah,
too.
He
did have you know, a sideline official come in and say
Yep.
he had a receiver in the area, and he said, no, thank
Yep.
you. He had no intention of throwing to that receiver in the area.
So
10-yard and loss it down.
So 2nd and 20. Now, if I'm Concord, I just run the ball, and
you're running it with Miles here, who again makes that little shimmy to the outside.
well, you better tackle, boys.
Yeah.
And Ben Dodge saves the day there, because if he doesn't, I mean, that's a problem for Goffstown. So Miles gets about 15 yards with a play that was almost a busted play.
Right. Again,
55 seconds left in the half.
Goffstown loses contain there. We've got a balance set. He rolls right.
Cuddy throws him down. What a game for Evan Cuddy.
Evan Cuddy.
Do you call a timeout if you're Goffstown? And yes, they are. That's going to be a 4th down. 4th down and a long 20 for and Concord.
Immediate timeout call.
Right. So now I bring everybody on this one. I bring the house.
The thing you got to be careful about is, you know, another turnover.
If they contain, yeah.
Is another turnover, and they've had some issues on special teams today. So
no, I know that I'm saying, but if you're Goffstown, do you try to block a punt? That's my point.
Well, you look at field position right now, and Miles has been kicking the ball pretty well. So if you're able to return it, I mean, you're probably going to start with the ball, hopefully around
the 40,
your own 40-yard line.
Right,
exactly.
With about 40 seconds to go, which is
not a lot of time.
Not a lot of time, and it's not like we've got a passing game that's working today, because technically it really hasn't been.
So you still like to see, you know, I mean, you're gambling here that you're going to get a big play go your way,
right?
As opposed to their way to end the half. So.
And this is what sometimes I don't. Okay, Cuddy is in the game here, because I want to try to get some guys in here who can maybe block a kick.
So 44 seconds left to go in the half. A very close ball game right now, 10-9 in favor of Concord.
Evan Cuddy's trying to fire up the crowd here.
Miles set in the backfield.
Interesting that it's just like it's always like a pooch kick situation.
And man, they might have been able to get to that one.
I was going to say, don't fair catch that one.
And we've got
just get out of bounds.
Out to the outside.
Yeah. He didn't get much.
Dodge, not much, but he holds on to it.
Number 1 made the tackle on that. Gage Pajorczyk.
That's all you. You got that one.
I'm trying to. It's hard with some of these names.
I would say Pajorczyk.
Pajorczyk.
Did you get a correction from the booth?
No, I'm just. I wrote it down. Pajorczyk, I think.
So 34 seconds to go. Goffstown comes back out on the field. They're starting at their 44-yard line. We got trips to the field side. Stinnett also lined up that way. No harm on that fumble from Stinnett as they are able to recover it.
Get out of bounds, man. And he doesn't get out of bounds.
Putnam with the catch on the other side of the field. There's no timeouts left for Goffstown, so
you ground it.
Is ticking.
You just ground it right here.
So they're trying to line up as fast as possible. It's still taking a while. 16 seconds. Are they set? They get set. He rolls out. They're running a play. They've got a play in here. They get rid of it.
Get out of bounds.
It is out of bounds at the 30-yard line. It's complete to Sean Leahy.
Now, our kicker, I do not think can kick a 47-yarder, but
7 seconds to go, 30 yards. You probably don't have enough time to run 2 plays here, so you're looking for one.
Like a 10-yard out pattern, right?
If you have time for it, I don't know. If you don't get out of bounds, certainly you're in trouble. So he might be going end zone right now. Oh, it is quick to the outside.
Oh, you got to catch that. Come on, you got to catch that.
Thrown to Hanault.
Come on.
So now 2.7. Now you only got time for one.
Because that ball ends on the 20-yard line. You got a shot at a 37-yard field goal. And
which is a makeable kick.
yeah, it's just
They're
that's just
mulling this one
execution.
over. So now you got trips again set up to the left, to the field side. Stinnett also there as well.
So now you're going to be throwing into the end zone, bottom line.
Concord is stacked deep. They're waiting for that.
Set your
last
feet,
long
Charlie.
pass. He throws it deep. It is
Intercepted,
intercepted there
and
at the goal line. Let's see if they make the tackle to end this half, and they
do.
And to
You
end
know,
the
I'll tell
half,
you, here's the problem with that one. I'm just going to call him out on it. Charlie Keith, you had all time in the world. Set your feet and throw the ball in the end zone. And it's mechanics. It's just mechanics.
it's Hail Mary time,
Yeah.
though, at the same time. Nobody
No,
opened there. Good coverage
listen,
for Concord.
Steve, I get it's Hail Mary time, but you got to set your feet and throw the ball and have receivers have a chance to look for a tip.
Well, certainly that was the issue with
And
the
that was
first
a line,
interception,
yeah.
too. So rolled out the same way, didn't get his feet set. And 2 picks, and that one by number 9 to end the half, Adrian Kennedy, who was the infamous Adrian Kennedy that ran
That's
back
right.
the blocked field goal.
So with that, we're going to take a break at halftime. We're Crimson Tide of Concord leading 10-9. It's an onside kick for Concord, and Goffstown just jumps on the ball. So they're going to pick up the ball around the 40-yard line, and that started pretty quickly. It started so quickly that they didn't turn the music off here at Goffstown High. So Goffstown receives what looked to be almost an onside kick, Steve, and they get the ball at the 40-yard line.
This game's got great tempo.
Was it
Even the
Hager?
broadcast booth wasn't ready for that.
Yeah, Hager picked up the ball. That kind of
Caught us all by surprise.
Yes, sirree. Low snap, and Stinnett keeps pushing and pushing. He picks up about 3.5 to 4 yards on the play for a 2nd and 6. And on that one was Brown with the tackle.
In the first half, I mean, you saw the advantage on the line that Goffstown has now. Can they minimize the mistakes going into the second half to utilize that? You have motion here. Keith hands it
for Leahy. And Leahy gets wrapped up. He only picks up about 3 yards in that end type run.
Zach Miles there on the stop.
So it'll be a short 3rd and 3 for Goffstown. The other thing too, Steve, is that Goffstown has been vulnerable to long plays. You know, long offensive plays. We have a timeout on the field.
2 shoes untied
by the officials.
The
so
right
Steve,
side of the line needs to tie their shoes.
So the first 3 games, Goffstown, I think, has given up 5 offensive on defense. They've given up 5 plays over 50 yards. And that really hurts. So today, knock on wood, except for that block
the
defense
kick. Has been pretty good.
Defense has been real good today.
Keith fakes.
Great block. What a block. And I'm going to give kudos to Eric Lefebvre and number 50,
little pin on
Dan
the outside
Locke.
there.
Right. So Lefebvre and Locke just opened up the way.
Great run there by Charlie Keith, getting to the 38-yard line.
That's that right side of the offensive line, and also Marcus Rush.
Trips to the field side, ball's handed off.
Marcus Rush, too, on that one. So Stinnett on the carry. He picks up about 5, but Marcus Rush, offensive lineman, with the push. So the right side of the line.
Now that they have their shoes tied.
You're right.
A lot of progress on that line this week over the last couple weeks. Pulled by Charlie Keith. He takes it inside, has some room there. He's been great when he's using his legs. He's down around the 15-yard line.
Right, Adrian Kennedy with the tackle from behind. Actually, I would say the push from behind brings down Charlie Keith.
Balanced receiver set, ball on the left side hash. Handed,
Keith off
faked.
again, yeah.
It's Keith. He's calling
He's
his
in
own
there.
number.
That's a touchdown for Charlie Keith.
Great response right out of the gate.
Got to be a touchdown, and it is. So that time they went over the left side of the line. So
that's a run pass option there too, where he had a receiver on the outside where he could have made that pass, and he decides to call his own number. Very decisive play there by Charlie Keith.
So good job by reading the defense by Charlie Keith, and he goes over, I'd say that was what, left guard, looked like.
Yeah, and the play, that could go either way. That could be a run inside.
So that's on the LaFave side of the action.
That could be a pass to the outside, or that could be
They're going for
Charlie
two.
Keith. And he's going to pull it again, and
he's
gonna
shy.
Get stacked
He
up
is shy about a
short.
yard short, and that's 15-10 Goffstown. And I agree with that call.
Yeah,
I mean,
you're up 5 there, and
right.
you get the extra point. It's only a 6-point game, so good decision to go for 2.
So that was a drive of 60 yards for Goffstown in under 2 minutes, largely by the runs of Stinnett and Charlie Keith. But most importantly, what you saw there was the offensive line just doing their job. Dan Locke and crew.
Yeah, great holding their blocks, and also great decision-making by Charlie Keith, who seems like a different quarterback when he's going downhill rather than when he's dropping back and making decisions in the pocket or on the run.
You know, it's hard for us too. You know, it's hard for any broadcaster because we're usually pretty far away from the play. Here in Goffstown, we're kind of right on the action, especially when they're inside the 40-yard line, so we can see the linemen and really you saw how well the blocking was happening for Goffstown. It's kicked off. Gibson kicks it off over the head.
Great
and
kick.
That's going to be
It almost skipped outside,
it
but
it went outside.
Did touch in the
right.
end zone.
So great kick by Gibson. It was like they almost were daring him to kick it over their head.
I think so. I think they were not expecting that deep. Obviously, without Gladdy in the game, running it back for Concord, maybe not as much confidence in terms of running it back.
Yeah. Although I have to say that my experience of calling these games over the last several years is the fact that on these kickoffs, a lot of times these guys are playing too deep, and the ball ends up being kicked in front of them, which makes it a little bit harder to run it back.
Well, you have very few teams that actually kick it the length of the field now, too. So Concord comes out, Crimson Tide.
So no
balance
Gladdy.
Set. Miles rolls, quick pass out to the outside. And that's Kennedy again.
And Teixeira on the stop there. And that's a first down, a quick out pattern.
Good timing on that play.
So what they're doing, what Concord looks like they're doing, Steve, is they're rolling them out on almost all these plays, knowing that the pass rush for Goffstown, if he stays in the pocket's probably going to scoop him up.
It helps the quarterback's vision. Now you run into a situation when you're on the right hash where your quarterback has to, if he's going to roll against his throwing hand, which is, it's a tough motion. So let's see if they roll him again or if they run here. He drops back straight. Miles throws over the middle, over the head of Kennedy.
Yeah, so Kennedy had that one. It's a little bit high.
Catchable ball.
Yeah, when you put your hands on it, you should catch it.
So it's going to make 2nd and 10 from the 35.
And that's what we're seeing, I think, for both teams. We're seeing some dropsies. So the quarterback, a couple of instances where the quarterback has put the ball right on the receiver's hands and they've just missed it.
And you watch Miles; he is more accurate of a passer when he's rolling, especially rolling right. You got trips down here to the field side. He rolls away from the trips.
And he throws it away. That's good job by Miles on that situation because he knows that he's getting closed in on, and he doesn't turn it over.
No, that ball's put in a spot where only Kennedy can catch it.
Yeah.
No real opening there at all for the Crimson Tide, as you had both Stinnett and Putnam in coverage.
So we've got a 3rd down and a long 10, under 9.5 minutes to play in the 3rd.
Actually, that side of the field's Teixeira.
Yeah, and they've been picking on Teixeira's side. All these teams have been because Teixeira's a sophomore. Really a quality player, but young.
Balance set. They're going to roll him this way.
And he gets gobbled up, and it's going to be another hold.
Could be a penalty against the Crimson Tide.
Yeah, I think you're going to see a hold on the Crimson Tide, which will get declined.
And Baxter shoots in there.
And it is a hold.
Design blitz right into where Miles was rolling. It looks like the Goffstown defensive staff has gotten used to him rolling out of the pocket, and they've kind of figured out a way to keep him that bad.
Right, and that time it was Baxter who got in there.
And that's a design blitz into the roll. So knowing they're going to roll him to the field side.
So again, it's kind of windy here, folks. I don't know if you can hear it on our microphones, but so Ben Dodge is at the 40-yard line to receive the punt.
Windy conditions, tough to receive punts. Miles kick,
off.
line drive kick, fair
catch again
by Dodge. And they'll take it right there at the 38-yard line.
It's like deja vu. I thought I could have sworn I saw a similar play, right?
It was,
yeah.
On a fair catch. And it probably was. I mean,
yeah,
if the
one, I think that one you're right, because here's the other thing too, is it's knuckling, right? It's not an easy ball to catch. So your primary job is to catch the ball.
You concentrate on catching the football and don't worry about making that first move. Goffstown takes over here, 15-10 lead, been moving the football, especially on the ground. Juneau back in the game in the backfield. Fake to him. Oh,
wide open, but he could
middle.
not connect to Dodge. But as a timing throw,
Keith had him, yeah.
And he had him. But I like the play. I like the play call a lot.
Oh, yeah, it was there. And if Dodge comes up with that, he's off to the races on that. There's some space in that seam.
And I think that play works because you've had success running the ball.
Charlie Keith takes the snap, pulls on the exchange.
And they're grabbing the ball like crazy. They're trying to wrestle that ball free. Number 60 for Concord with the tackle, Cameron Thompson.
6-yard gain on the play. Charlie Keith made that pull pretty early.
Yep, 3rd and a long 4. And Baxter looks like he's coming in. But was that another one of those bunch formations, right?
Right, yeah, we got bunch trips. Isolated down here, we have Colby Putnam. Juneau in the backfield.
Low snap.
And it's handed up the middle.
That's a first down.
Like you said, north-south, right up the middle.
Yeah.
Crimson Tide territory out to the 44-yard line.
So we're gonna start calling him Josh Juneau I-93 because he's running north-south, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Juneau, Alaska, very, very north.
Yeah.
In this case, we are heading south. He runs up the middle, another 5-yard
even in that
gain.
situation, 68 with the tackle, Gavin Brown, but again, a good 3-4 yards, just tough running.
Hey, 4-yard chunks will get it done. That's a first down. You do that 3 times. And if they have an advantage there on the line, they might as well stick with it. Bunch trips this way. Juneau again, same thing.
He buries
right
his
up the
head,
middle.
and he's close to another first down. And it is a first down. So
and
again,
they're going tempo. They're going to stay in the same formation. They're going to put Juneau right there in the backfield next to Keith. Same play.
And again, he picks up 2 or 3. So
that's
the
still
key
positive
here is
yardage.
you just don't want turnovers. I mean, that's the key.
And it looks like Juneau's ball security's been very good. He gets forward, but he covers up that ball. He's got 2 hands on the football. They line up quick again.
And they're running the ball, right over center.
Same formation, bunch trips. Juneau off to the right. Oh, fake pitch. Charlie Keith up the middle.
And he picks up, about 7 on that one?
Yeah, that's good enough for a first down.
Yeah, another first down for Goffstown. The chain gang is getting their action right now.
Just enough of a wrinkle there in terms of play call to mix Concord up. Same formation. Charlie Keith pulls the ball, looking for it. He doesn't have much there. He gets positive yardage.
Yeah.
Pushed out of bounds by Kabate.
It was funny. It looked like on that one, I think that was Kumweba. He kind of threw Charlie to the ground on that one. 2nd and 7, and we're going to get a timeout. Concord. They're getting winded, I guess.
I think so. I think this type of running attack, especially when you go quick, wears you down.
Yeah. So good job by Goffstown in that situation. They're forcing Concord to take a timeout here because they can't keep up with the tempo.
So if we're looking at halftime adjustments, you see a lot of Goffstown on the ground right now.
Yeah.
Not much being thrown in the air.
Well, why would you? I mean, they haven't had so much success. The other thing that I've also picked up on, and this is just from that trips bunch formation. That's about the only wrinkle I've seen today. You don't, in years past, you saw more formations from Goffstown. Last year, you might have seen even like Duval coming in motion. One of my criticisms in the first 3 weeks was that you're really not testing the defense in terms of having to read anything, because if you're not doing anything with your formations, it's just you have a better opportunity to read the play.
Right. And again, it's about how deep you can get into that playbook in a very
short season,
protracted early season.
And they don't let them practice a whole lot, right?
Correct.
In terms of in pads. So
we got trips left. No bunch this time. Juneau off to Charlie Keith's left. It's handed. No, he pulls it. That's that run pass option. He's got Leahy on the outside.
And we've got a flag.
He may have come over the line of scrimmage when he passed the football there.
And that is usually the call on that. If not, it's like a
could be an illegal forward pass here.
That's what I'm thinking it is.
Yeah.
And that's thrown by the line judge. That's their job. It's the line judge's job.
That's tough because he sells that fake for as long as he can, but unfortunately he took that maybe a step too far, crosses the line of scrimmage.
And that's a tough call for a referee, because it's where the ball goes over, not where any feet go over.
Right. He can be completely across the line of scrimmage.
5-yard penalty, and I think that's a loss of down on that, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
So it's going to be 3rd down and 11, 12.
Yeah. So, again, we get into this. Now we're in a long yardage situation. Let's see what Goffstown does. They're in that same running type formation. Charlie Keith cuts it back.
Great run there.
He might be close. He's got a first down. He's got a first down. That'll be 1st and goal for Goffstown. I can't see from here. Maybe like the 5-yard line, maybe?
Looks like about the 5-yard line. Keith takes it all the way down.
We got a tough angle.
Juneau in the backfield, off to the right, trips to that side. He keeps it again. Keith
got to
grinds
protect
out
the ball, though.
Maybe a yard on that play.
So I tell you got to give a lot of credit to Charlie Keith and that offensive line on that last play. That was a 3rd and 10. Pretty much running it up the gut. Charlie Keith cuts it back.
And maybe learned a lesson on the previous play where maybe he should have pulled it instead of making the throw, which was open.
Yeah.
Good read. But they're making some traction here on running the football.
2nd and goal from the 5-yard line.
Juneau and Keith in the backfield. 4 receivers out wide. He fakes the toss. He's got a blocker.
Nothing.
Doesn't take goes up the middle.
You might get a hold here, too. I think you're going to get a hold on this for Goffstown.
When the official throws it right at your back,
yeah,
it's usually on you. Charlie Keith, little hobbled on the play, gets up slow. The other possibility, we got a face mask. Maybe a legal use of hands on the offense. It was holding. It was holding.
And that's going to bring him back. And Charlie Keith is holding something. His shoulder? Rib?
Looks
He's holding
like
a rib.
And so that hold is going to back Goffstown up.
10 yards.
Yep.
So now it'll be a
15-yard
line. 15. And, so it's a 2nd and goal at the 15-yard line.
Balanced receiver set. Ball placed in the middle of the field.
I still run it.
Juneau switches to the left side. We got motion here. Dodge on the handoff. No, it's faked. Charlie Keith pulls it. He's heading for the outside.
And they're going for the ball. And that was number 67 on the tackle, Hunter Robinson. And Hunter Robinson went for the ball and Charlie Keith.
That's an important tackle, too, because Robinson doesn't get him. He might be in for 6.
3rd and goal. So, again, now here's the other situation. Depending upon where you run the ball, it makes it harder for a field goal. Correct, Steve?
That's correct. So you want to get the ball in the middle of the field if possible. You got 3 receivers on the field side. Trips, he drops straight back. It's a screen set up. You got blockers in front. Juneau to the end zone is in. Great screen setup, great play call.
Hallelujah. Okay, I've been asking for screens now for three games. And we saw that was what was happening against Goffstown was that the pass rush of the defense was killing them. And you got to soften that up, and screen plays usually do that. So that was the first time that I've seen them run a screen.
That was really well executed. You know, I mean, again, with so many new players, both on the line and your skill positions as well. I mean, screen passes. I mean, it can be tough to really kind of get that organized.
So they're going to go for 2 again, right?
2, and they're lined up on the left hash
with an 11-point lead. And
look for Charlie Keith to try to roll out right here.
And well, maybe it's an option, rollout option. And
tough snap. Oh, and he rolls right in.
Well, what could he do? I mean, the ball
arms,
is at his ankles.
Tough snap. Paul Buckles right there to wait for him while Charlie Keith picked up the ball, so that's no good. 2 missed 2-point conversions.
Yeah, it's a 2-possession game though for Concord to come back here. They'll need 2 possessions to do it, but it's early. I mean, it's 5 minutes to go in the third. Goffstown ate up a lot of clock.
Those are 2 big drives right there. Offense is clicking. It's doing well. They're winning between the tackles.
Yeah, not only that, when you think about, I don't know how many it was we don't have the budget for statisticians and for all these other people to be here in the booth, but it seems like Goffstown has converted on a ton of 3rd and 10s.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, at least 3, maybe 4 3rd and 10s or longer.
Yeah, that's a situation where, you know,
and that's
either side of the ball, you want to get off the field on 3rd down. Gibson set to kick.
See what he does.
He goes deep again, and they are going to try to return this one.
Got to stay in your lanes.
With a block from Kennedy.
And he gets gobbled up.
Good coverage out around the 25 is Kabate.
And number 43 for Goffstown, that would be Jeff Hager with the tackle.
Special team specialist.
He's all over the place. And Hinault was in there on that tackle as well. Who's that guy in the Patriots? Like he's like a special teams artist. What's his name? What?
Nate Ebner.
No, there's another guy that maybe not this year, but in the years past, he was like all-pro special teams guy.
Matt Slater.
Right?
Matthew Slater.
Right. Yeah, Hager is like the Slater.
That's high praise right there for anybody on special teams. The big story today for the Crimson Tide is not much Isaac Gladdy in the second half.
I think you're right. That's the issue. It really limits their options.
Miles looks deep. He's got a man open. It's Vandersea and unable to catch the ball.
And here's the thing. Jarrett Hinault, he was in a different zip code. I mean, he was like in where on that one?
Vandersea got open. Yeah. He definitely was there, and maybe a catchable ball.
You can't. I don't know if it was like I don't know if it was like what do you call that when he's trying to fake out and then jumps back up.
A little double move.
Double move, but the quarterback didn't fake it that way.
Man coverage there, so he did get beat. Vandersea's a tough cover. They got 4 receivers split out again. Vandersea in the slot. Backup running back on the field for Concord, Gimaranzi. Oh, great catch. And that's Pewarsic.
And that's going to be a short 3rd down and 1 to go. That was an awesome catch by Pewarsic.
Great catch. 3rd and 1. Big 3rd down here for the Crimson Tide.
Well, you know what? He's a junior. He's 6'2". That's Gage Pewarsic.
They've got some guys on the outside that can make some plays.
But that was a great catch.
The issue for Concord today has been up the middle.
Yep. Well, and the other thing, too, is Zach Miles. He's got a good arm. I mean,
3rd and short, he pulls it.
And
he makes one move.
He makes it. He does it. He gets the 1st down. So he cuts that ball. I mean, all he needed was about a yard, and he got it.
And there wasn't much space in there for him either, so he got just enough for the 1st down.
You know, guys like Fragos have had a really good game keeping that middle clogged up.
Among the 10 points for Concord, you have that missed field goal. So really the Goffstown defense has done their job all day long. Trips to the left side. Miles drops back. Got a receiver. No longer open, rolling across his body,
And
throws it out of bounds.
Great pass rush there by, I'm trying to think who was in on that.
That was
one.
Josh Juno.
Josh Juno was in on that, but I don't know if it was Cuddy, but there was a lineman that got in there first who almost got him tackled by the ankles. We think it might have been Picard who might have, I think it was Picard who was in there, but he couldn't grab him by the ankles.
Miles definitely rushed and hurried, probably feeling the effects of no Isaac Gladdy.
Well, that's a big
big
loss.
loss.
There's no doubt about that.
Gladdy has his helmet on.
Trips left here for Concord. 2nd and 10. He
They're doing that-
rolls
they're
to the
doing that
field
rollout.
side. And
And
nobody there.
I wouldn't call grounding on that one because there was a receiver in the area.
If you're Josh Juno, though, don't stay
Are you-
over your quarterback too
Yeah.
long there.
You pick up a flag.
Yeah, exactly.
Although, again, it seems like Goffstown's defensive pursuit seems faster, or they're taking better angles today. Maybe it's just a better matchup. Don't know, but they seemed quicker to the ball, Steve.
Right, and you got to give this Concord team some credit. They're 2-1, so this is a team that's won some football games this year. They beat a Nashua South team from behind early in the season. Maybe a game not expected to win, but they pulled that one out. So this isn't a bad football team.
That's a hold, too. That's a hold, for crying out loud. They're going to throw that.
Flag is thrown.
I saw that from up here. I mean, that was crazy.
And Brad Baxter gets off that block anyway to
That was
make
number
the sack.
So Nick Fragos, he was held. It was almost like a waltz, like the guy was dancing with him for like 10 seconds. That was a no-brainer.
Fragos
hold.
has been a big difference maker up the middle and just tough for the Crimson Tide to deal with today.
What I like about him, Nick, is that when I was in Bedford, he was one of the few guys that he was like really cheering his teammates on, and I think you need that. I mean, when you're in an 0-3 type season, you got to have guys that are going to pump up your team, and I saw that like firsthand.
And even with a tough start to the season, they've got some winnable games ahead of them here. The tough part of the schedule really behind them with some winnable games. Hopefully they can battle back. Miles set the punt. It's straight up in the air.
And
it's
get away from
heading out
this
of
one. You
bounds.
get away from it.
And goes out of bounds right at the 45-yard line.
Right in front of us.
That had some height on it, though.
Wow.
They're going to walk it off at about the 48.
Yeah. I don't know, Steve.
A generous spot
Maybe,
for Goffstown.
yeah. So good field position for Goffstown with under 3 minutes and 15 seconds in the third. They lead 21-10. And I'll tell you, if Goffstown can put another touchdown on the board, this might be tough for Concord to come back. As you said before, absent that touchdown on that wacky blocked field goal, they've been held to 3 points.
Trips to the field side for Goffstown. Stinnett in the backfield. And Charlie Keith keeps it. It's run pass option, but he's keeping it all the way.
What a beautiful fake. He faked
7
Adrian
yards.
Kennedy out of his shoes on that one.
Great feet there. You're also hoping for ball security. It's one of those things where he's doing 3 things at once by
he's showing the ball. He's right.
Right. He's faking. He's looking to make the throw. And really, you want to put the ball away. No turnovers here. There's the ball on the ground.
Yeah.
Good job just falling on it.
As well as the offensive line and the center is playing this, in terms of push, there have been a lot of low snaps. I can't see.
3rd and 5 here for the Grizzlies. Bounced receiver set. Stinnett in the backfield. Lined up even. Fake outside zone. Charlie Keith keeps it close to the first down. We got a penalty flag on the play. He's going to get an extra 5 yards after that first
That'll
hit.
be coming back. I think we got a hold on Goffstown. Hanault. I think number 3 had a hold. So that was an unfortunate hold for Goffstown. That'll put them at, about a 2nd and 16 or something?
Yeah, it's a big turnaround there. Instead of a first down and a big gain, we're marching off a 10-yard penalty the other way.
It'll be 2nd and 16. Make it third and
Third and
16.
16.
I'm sorry. Third down and 16.
And the unfortunate thing is,
Make it
too,
third and
is holding
14.
on the outside, and that play really wasn't going to ever get to the outside.
So now what do you do if you're Goffstown? Do you try to throw the ball here, knowing that Charlie Keith has not been all that accurate?
Trips to the left side. Charlie Keith takes the snap. He got isolated down here. He's looking to the top of the screen, and there it is, caught by Colby Putnam.
But once again, though, he's running and throwing at the same time, and I know that sometimes that's what you have to do, but you don't always get the most accurate pass.
Well, it's hard to get any zip on it as well. So I mean, it's getting there, but it's kind of floating a little bit, which led to that first interception.
Plus, you got to keep in mind that he's throwing the ball to the sideline, so it's almost like a 35-yard pass.
Fourth down, Goffstown elects to keep its offense on the field.
I don't do this either.
Here.
I pooch kick it.
This is
but
the 45-yard line, trying to draw him off sides, and he almost jumped off sides, but then his own teammate pulls him back. 57 got a little help from the linebacker there.
Why do we do this? Why do you blow a timeout here in this one? I don't understand.
Well, I think what they were trying to do, they
draw
were
them off
lined
sides.
up is just
and I get that, Steve.
Yep.
But even if you did that, you take your 5-yard penalty and you punt.
That was an offsides there.
So I don't understand. I don't understand blowing a timeout there.
That's a good, that's a very good point, Scott. Yeah, if that 5 yards isn't going to make much of a difference.
Makes no difference. You're going to punt the ball unless you are legitimately going to go for it here on a 4th down and 3. And maybe they are, but
timeouts are precious. I understand what you're saying.
I think by punting the ball and perhaps even punting it out of bounds and having them go 80 yards for a touchdown, is probably a better idea. But I don't know. I mean, maybe Coach Tuft is thinking, okay, the net between a punt and going for it is only 20, 25 yards. I'm going for it. And if that's the case, then calling a timeout makes sense because you want to get your play called.
Well, you know what? Either way,
if
he's keeping the offense on the field.
Yeah, so if they're going for it, then timeout makes sense.
Okay.
See if they do this. He's going to run the ball again.
If you get it, it's great. If not, you're giving up great field position. Charlie Keith up the middle. He gets 5+, and he's in.
He's off to the races, I think.
He is going in for running him down. Zach Miles
he got him.
Caught him at about the 3-yard line. So no love for the opposing quarterback. Instead of letting him go in, Zach Miles runs him down.
Charlie Keith has had an awesome game with his legs today.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right, and they know they've had success there with that,
he's only
with
had
that zone fake.
Yeah, he's only had, maybe 3 or 4 completions on the day. But with his legs, it's been the story. 1st and goal on the 3-yard line for Goffstown.
The ball is handed to Stinnett.
But that was good penetration by number 60 that's Cameron Thompson.
And Charlie Keith probably wanted to pull that one too, but might need a blow here. So handed the ball to Stinnett that time. We got bunch formation receivers again.
This is a big, big stop for Concord. They need to stop Goffstown here.
Still going tempo. 25 seconds left in the quarter, and Stinnett up the middle is into the end zone.
And there are no flags, so Goffstown jumps to a 27-10 lead. There hasn't been a whole lot to cheer about this season, but right now Goffstown is up by 17 points with under 23 seconds in the third. I'll say it again and again. Offensive line has been creating the holes all day long.
So almost all the way through the third quarter, we can count on one hand and less than that the amount of times that Goffstown's thrown the ball here in the second half.
Blocked again.
Yeah, it's blocked, and that is dead because it's
so kicking game for Goffstown has been challenged.
It was, block and right back in his
quarterback. I mean, this guy is he's like Superman out there, Zach Miles.
He's
blocked
everywhere.
It. I mean, So
it's an interesting stat line.
Yeah.
He's punting the ball. He's recovering fumbles.
One guy I want to give a shout out today, right now, is the center. Is it Nathan Belanger? He's a sophomore, and he's had a really good game. Yeah, I mean, they're running the ball a lot up the middle. That means that the center and the guards are kind of doing their jobs.
And no disrespect to any team or any team around the state, but when you go from Bedford,
Yeah.
and seeing what's lined up across from you,
But
it is a little bit of a difference.
But what I like there is that you got a player in Belanger who's a sophomore, who is only going to get better as time goes on.
Correct. Gibson kicks it deep again. Nathan Vandersea for Concord returns the punt. He's got some speed.
Yeah,
so,
and
they
he gets
wrap
dragged
him up at
down
the 30.
by number 30 for Goffstown, Andrew Bird Diaz. He's also a star on special teams, very fast. So with 15 seconds left in the third, Goffstown leads 27-10.
So Gladdy has had his helmet on for much of the second half,
Yeah.
but he still hasn't made his way out there yet.
And that's the difference in this game, is that you have an all-state caliber player in Gladdy going down what looked to be like a sore ankle, twisted ankle. That's just a major weapon that Goffstown does not have to even contend with.
And he was a key contributor to both of those Concord wins earlier in the season. Miles holds on to it a little bit
And
too
he gets
long.
grabbed
He is
from
wrapped
behind
up.
by Baxter, I think, or no, that's not Baxter. Josh Picard, who's had a big game too. We've called his name quite a bit. Picard is pretty fast,
Yeah, and you mentioned a lot of changes on the defense this year, and so far after 3 weeks, defense starting to step up.
Yeah.
Has not given up a touchdown yet today.
And like you said, it's not like Goffstown had like one of these like balanced type schedules. I mean, you played Merrimack, very fast, very good team. Nashua North, same thing. You could have their sophomore running back arguably could be in contention for player of the year. And then you play Bedford, which is, a number 1, number 2 team in the state. So
yeah, that was an early gauntlet.
Yeah.
I think especially the surprise of the West Division being maybe a little bit better than people gave it credit for early in the season. Both Merrimack North and South, all very good teams.
Right. So this season, I think we're playing BG, right? I think we're playing South. I think we're playing
still
South.
have
we're playing
BG,
Keene,
you still
right?
have South, you still have Keene.
Memorial.
So there are some winnable games ahead on the schedule. So this game, is of consequence. If you can win today and stop the bleeding and gather yourself for a run of games that you could be competitive in.
Yeah, and I think for Concord, this is almost a must-win for them if they want to be in this thing because of who they're playing later on in the season. Quarterback rolls out.
Miles, definitely a different quarterback. Uses his legs here, cuts back across the field, and great wrap up there by
number
Baxter.
34, Baxter. Yeah. Again, this is what I'm talking about. Like
Pursuit.
This was the pursuit and the speed that I just did not see in the first 3 games. But they're not giving up, and they seem to be taking better angles to the ball. Steve.
I think that's absolutely the case because we saw some cutbacks against North where there was just nobody home on the backside and nobody running those plays down.
So there's no doubt that they're playing much more disciplined in terms of staying in their lanes and
a big win for the coaching staff. I mean, getting them ready for this game and being 0-3. Miles drops back. He steps up in the pocket, and it's an incomplete
almost
pass.
picked off by number 34, Baxter. It was tipped by number 3, Guy Kabadi, and Baxter almost picked that one off. So it's a 4th down and 8. This is a punting situation for the Crimson
himself
Tide.
for dropping that, but
He would have gotten
he
tackled.
wasn't going to get a first down on that play.
So let's see if this is even returnable. So far, Goffstown has not returned a punt that I can remember. Most of them have been fair caught.
And Miles
they're line drive punts right to Goffstown's. What happened there?
A whistle on a play, and there's a flag down here on the near side. It looks like it's offsides against Goffstown.
If that's the case, it'll be a 4th and 3.
Guy in the neutral zone. Not sure who. Was it thrown here by the near side official? It's a 5-yard penalty.
That'll be a 4th and 3. I don't know if that will change the thought process for the Crimson
Coach
Tide.
Brown keeps the punting unit on the field.
And He's playing, I will say that.
3-score game now.
Ben Dodge is playing shallow.
Miles
And
left-footed punt.
that's going out of bounds around the 40-yard line.
Yeah, it looks like it's right there at the 40-yard line. No return there for the Grizzlies.
Good field position.
Good field position.
So safe to say here, if Goffstown puts another score on the board, game over. I mean, I think it's already might be close to that already. I mean, they have not put up a touchdown against Goffstown.
And the time of possession stats here
It's crazy, right?
Yeah,
we don't
very, very lopsided. A lot of 3-and-outs for Concord this half. A lot of great adjustments defensively from the Grizzlies. And it's Juneau, north-south, straight up the middle, and he might be taking this one to the house. He's going.
He might. He's
inside
caught by
the 20.
number 9.
Kennedy is going to wrap him up at the 5-yard line. But that's a big
run. That's like a 65, more than that. 55-yard run, yeah.
To the 5-yard line and 1st and goal.
He might need oxygen after that run.
He's not coming out, though. They're lining him back up. If Charlie Keith is sensitive to his running back's needs, he'll pull this.
So, Steve, I think we want to do some interviews. If Goffstown prevails, I think Juneau is one of the guys we want to talk to if that's the case. I mean, that was just a crushing run.
Yeah, he's full steam ahead. It's one way or the other. It's very rarely side to side. Juneau gets it right after that big carry. He's almost in.
He's the 1-yard line. Maybe
right at the goal line.
Yeah, he's close.
Inside the 1. Now, if you carried it twice in here, I think he's going to want that touchdown.
I think,
right?
Yeah, I think if you're the coaching staff,
give him the cherry here.
You got it right. You got to let him put the cherry on the sundae here,
That's
right?
right.
I mean, there's no doubt about it. Wind is really picking up here, up in the booth. Under 10 minutes to play.
Yeah, there it is up the middle. Juneau does score. 3 Josh Juneau carries and a touchdown on 55 yards on the ground.
I-93 does it again. I mean,
yeah, that's right.
That's it. I mean, north-south, and wow, very, very impressive. And I'd like to say that I called it today, and they called me Grosstradamus. Remember that? They did. And I'm going to say that I think it's accurate now because I called it at the Blue Moose Cafe here. Gibson with the extra point. High snap.
And it's
he
good.
Puts it through. So
34-10. Big bounce back.
34-10, 24-point lead for Goffstown. So they went in trailing 10-9 at half. So they've had 25 unanswered points so far.
And it looks like the players have responded to some bemused looks on the sideline from their coaching staff at halftime, and have turned it around and some great adjustments.
Yeah, but once again, I mean, you got to give credit for Juneau, like exploiting that opening in the middle. But if you don't get
comes down the line,
if you don't get the offensive line push by guys like Locke and Belanger and Lefebvre and others, then you can't make. They're the ones who create those holes.
Gibson set to kick. The pair of Kabadi and Vandersea deep. It's going to be picked up here by Kabadi, and he's going to hit that hole hard and almost get to the outside. Baxter's there.
Yeah, we got block in the back.
Looks like, yeah, penalty right there at the 25-yard line.
So they'll be bringing that to the 15, and Concord will take over probably around their 15, 16-yard line, I'm thinking. So a lot of discussion, this week about, Concord really, going 3-1 and making a run for the playoffs. And I think this really sets them back big time because they're going to be playing some tough teams in the weeks ahead.
Right, tougher divisional games ahead. Yeah. The question is now for Goffstown, are there some chinks in the armor at Central after losing to North last night that could be
Central looks
exposed?
I agree, but Central is an awfully good team.
They are very good.
They have arguably one of the better quarterbacks in the state.
There might not be an argument on that one.
Yeah,
I think he,
right. You think he is the
he
the
might
best?
be the guy.
Yeah, okay.
He might have been the guy last year,
Yeah.
too.
I was very impressed with Bedford's quarterback last week. Very impressed with him.
They're strong.
Yeah,
just
He's-
about. At
I
every
like
position.
him a lot. I think he's got a great arm, and he's good wheels. I mean,
We have new quarterback in the game for Concord, and we have a little bit of a busted play there for Trevor Smith. He was expecting that running back to
Except the last name Smith.
zone read to go the other way, and it just didn't happen. So we have some replacements in here now for the
Right.
Crimson Tide. Looks like both teams are making some substitutions.
yeah. So getting back to the Bedford QB, I think his name is Thomas Morgan, and he seemed so poised last week in terms of the way that he led his team down the field.
And that'll be an interesting matchup later in the season when we see Central and Bedford to see who's
Wow,
really the top
nice
of the
move
division.
by the backup QB, number 12, Trevor Smith. So that's kind of coincidental that both backup quarterbacks for both teams have the last name Smith.
That's right. You might see both of them this
I
quarter.
I think you probably will. You're seeing
A lot of changes on the line here,
so number
too, for Goffstown.
Yeah, 63, Antonio
Capos.
Capos, freshman. And number 66, Max Young,
And
playing
Capos
nose.
isn't playing freshman just because he's a getting off the bus guy. He's look at that, just moving the line. This is Smith completes
A tackle by Ben Dodge.
to Kabadi, and that's a big gain.
Yeah, it was a big game.
14-yard
Yep.
gain on second down. Out to the 43-yard line. Chains move.
So you
Clock
think
keeps
in
going.
that situation the Concord coach is like, hey, I don't want my starting QB to get hurt in a game where I don't think we have a chance of winning, and let me get some time in for my backup.
Especially with, no pun intended, the mileage
Yeah.
that Zach Miles has put on today just because of,
And he gets
playing on
hauled
every
down
side of the ball.
by number 23, Zach Picard.
Picard, we got another Picard.
Another Picard. A Picard brother,
I would
perhaps?
say just a big Picard clan.
Yeah. Well, there was the Pinard brothers. Now there's the Picard brothers.
Right.
So,
and last year we had Picard and Pinard.
Yeah, and it got confusing.
Right.
Yeah.
Is it a C or an N?
Yeah. So we're
Smith
seeing
in the backfield, also with Ronan McGonigal. He blitz up the middle A gap blitz right
34, 35. He just
Cam
saw that
Kozak.
one. Yeah, Kozak just read that one all the way, and that's about a 5-yard loss on that.
Yeah, he got a good running start
Yeah.
as soon as the ball was snapped. He hit that A gap and knew exactly where the play was going.
So we want to talk to, let's see, Juno, right?
Josh Juno.
Right. We got to pick up. We got to pick an offensive
Pick a
lineman
lineman.
too. But we'll talk about that after.
You mentioned
gotta think.
LaFave.
We got to think
Few
about.
times, I
We got to
think.
think about a lineman. Center screen.
Oh, it was
and
a
he just-
screen
yeah,
up the
he just
middle,
couldn't
and
get it.
McGonigal couldn't quite make the catch. Had a couple chances to catch the football turning up the field.
You know, so I got two that are kind of no-brainers. I think Cuddy on defense.
Absolutely.
He made some pretty amazing plays, and we got Juno on offense, and we'll think about the other one or two that we want to talk to. But definitely a big day for both offensive and defensive lines.
And got to recognize those guys. It's usually where the game's won
yeah.
inside those tackles. So Concord set to punt here. Miles still in to do the
almost
kicking
blocked.
duties. And
Fair
it's fair
caught,
caught
yeah.
here.
Oh,
whoa, no. It's dropped, and Concord's going to recover it at
God.
the
So
6-yard line.
So was it number 27, Sabolkin?
It was.
So Sabolkin bobbled it, and
And that's a situation where you feel the heat of the coverage team coming
Yeah.
down, and you want to make the fair catch, but your eyes are maybe a step ahead of you.
Reminder, Goffstown still up 20.
Now, in fairness to Sobolkin, it's not like we've got fairly windy conditions, but Goffstown is up 34-10 with under 6.5 to play in the game.
Smith drops back, got a receiver,
throw.
got Kennedy wide open up the middle in the slot, and that is a touchdown.
What a throw. What a beautiful throw.
There.
Yep.
Immediately taking advantage of the turnover.
So that's the first touchdown scored by Concord today off Goffstown's defense, and that was a beautiful throw right on the money.
Great throw by Trevor Smith.
Trevor Smith just put that one right out there.
Sophomore quarterback.
Beautiful play.
Possibly the future here for Concord.
So in the next couple of years, we might see a Smith on Smith.
In the North Division.
Yeah.
Yep.
Low snap.
Good hold by
and
Miles.
That one is good. 34-17. So it's a 17-point game with 6 minutes to go. I think you're going to see some running by Goffstown. I don't think there's any need to pass to slow down the clock at all. It's a 3-possession game. Concord would have to score 2 touchdowns and a field goal just to tie it up. Unlikely, but then again, they're probably going to do an onside kick here. They'll have to.
Interesting to see if the two stay on the field with a 3-point or a 3-possession game. It's likely that he's going to want to get some kids some time here, but at the same time, it might have to do with what happens on this kickoff.
I agree.
I think goes onside and recovers.
Yeah, but I think you put your best guys out there on this onside kick situation, and then if they do recover, guess what? We're putting our starters back in.
Right. It does look like
I just want to see if Hager gets it again. That's all I care about.
And he's out there.
I'm just surprised that they don't have more guys up.
Every time they kick
you know what I'm saying? Like, typically in this situation, they're playing in a standard, almost a standard formation, and this is not a standard play. I don't understand why they don't have more guys playing up. It's an onside kick situation, but they don't do it.
And it is kicked deep, and it's caught there.
Now you just try to get out of bounds.
Sobolkin.
You just go out of bounds. That's it.
So Sobolkin, who did drop the punt earlier, makes up for it by catching the kickoff.
So now let's see what Goffstown does in terms of their players. Are they going to put in their backup quarterback, and that would be Smith as well, Elliott Smith, number 1. Let's see who comes out onto the field.
Kickoff team there, you had a freshman back deep, Uziel Mpoyo back deep. So 2 freshmen taking the field today for Goffstown.
What do you think, though? I mean, you think that let's see what they're doing here. Number 1 is in the game. Yep, Elliott Smith is the quarterback.
So Smith takes over here.
And I also saw Mike Levesque. And they play. They've played quite a bit together.
And
Smith and Levesque.
Jeff Hager in the backfield. And it's handed to him, first carry. And he finds a hole here, and he's got some space. He's going to run the ball. Going to be run down by Nathan Vandersea.
So that was number 43. Hager with the running.
Hey, you wanted to get him to get a touch.
Oh,
I mean,
my goodness
He might be somebody that we interview today. Special teams prowess.
I just like his I just like his attitude, man.
And he's coming off for some oxygen.
Yeah. He was so surprised that he had so much room.
Yeah.
What is Capos doing? He's playing now tackle?
Right tackle. Got some big tackles in the game right
Dalton,
now.
number 52. He's a sophomore, 6'4", 246. Capos is 6'3", 259. These guys are...
Smith in the backfield. Picard with him. Trips on the field side. The handoff is to Picard, and he's stopped in the backfield.
He gets gang tackled, led by number 6, Hamza Abdulrahman. Sargent didn't tackle him. I think he just couldn't say his name.
Right, I think he took the easy way out.
He did,
on that.
and I didn't. I rose to the challenge.
You did. You absolutely did. I've been in the PA box and done that, intentionally misattribute a tackle.
Yeah. Now, Smith has shown in his couple of games that he can throw the ball.
Smith in the backfield here. Picard with him.
Low snap.
Another handoff. No, he keeps it this time.
And he gets wrapped up.
Also in the backfield.
That could be a late. See, you got to be careful. You're number 75.
Still giving him the business.
And he gave him a little bit of the business. So we're going to call out Jarrett Lamoureux. Yeah. But in fairness to him, he's just trying. He probably just got in the game, you know, want to get some action. But
I think so. A little extra though.
Yeah, a little
bit of the
extracurriculars.
business.
So out goes 37 for Goffstown. In comes number 25.
Another
Nathan
injury that Concord
Bonakarski
had to deal with this season is the injury of Seth Malachi, who's their number 2, 1 and 2 running back is Gladdy Malachi. So, I mean, it's a different Concord team. When you take those guys out of the equation, not as potent offensively.
And we're going to see a punting situation here for Goffstown, I would think, although Smith comes back out along with number 23, Zach Picard. So maybe they'll go for it on 4th and 12. It just seems unlikely. This is a perfect opportunity for a pooch kick.
It looks like Picard is
I think Picard would be the one to get it.
Situation, and there it is. And that's a great booming kick.
Oh, that's going to go in the end zone, though. So, yeah. So we're with about 4 minutes left to go in the game.
The Crimson Tide take over 17 points below the 34 of Goffstown.
So you do know, Steve, that part of your contract with GTV means that you do have to do the interviewing. So
no, that's fine.
I know I know that it was like in type, 8. It was in the back part on page 8.
It was very. Yeah. You got to always read the fine print.
Yes, you always have to read fine prints and contracts.
Well, as long as I get a substantial bonus for the interview.
Yeah, you and me both.
Okay, 200% of 0 is 0.
That really didn't go anywhere. I was a tackle by number 20. That was Picard on the tackle, too. So I think it was a 23 running the ball, 23 making the tackle. That's unusual.
Smith, new running back in the game for Concord is Jacob Halleck, sophomore. Smith drops back. Well, he had somebody on this side, but he wasn't looking. We got probably a hold in the backfield. Smith takes off. He's got some.
Number 1 laid out. He laid out Kozak.
So it's a penalty flag on that.
He laid Kozak out. He's going to get a personal foul for that.
Yeah.
Because it was almost like hitting, I think it was, you could argue that it was, I don't know. Back in the days, I don't think it was in a way. I mean, he did lay him out, but it was
definitely. I mean, 5 years ago, that's actually a great textbook.
That's a textbook, right?
But there is something they're trying to take out of the game or make the game more safe, and the officials are talking about it right now. Some contact to the head.
He's going to get a person. They're going to have him a hold. And that's fair. I mean,
personal foul.
Personal foul. It's the other way around, probably. But wouldn't that be? I mean, they threw the flag as a result of that hit, right?
I don't think that's quite right. It was
just weird how that one went down.
Because the Goffstown player got laid out, and I don't think.
If you're going to throw a personal foul, it would have been a personal foul on Concord in that situation, but under 3.5
offsetting penalties nonetheless. Smith in the backfield, out of pistol formation, handed off.
He got nothing.
To Halleck.
Number 34 was the first one in there. Brad Baxter, I think. If it was 34, it's kind of hard to see the numbers now. Maybe it was 64 then. Aiden Hughes, maybe?
Under 3 minutes now on the clock. 17-point lead for Goffstown.
So Bonacorsi was credited with that tackle.
Kozak, who is the recipient of a really hard block and also a personal foul for getting blocked. Oh, great pass outside by Smith. Borzik on the catch for Concord. I didn't shy away from that name.
Yeah. Tell you, who's number 5? Dennis. He looks pretty big.
Norwood Dennis, yeah.
Norwood Dennis.
Junior, 6'4".
6'4". Okay, yeah, he seems pretty tall.
Concord lines up, 2:26 left on the clock. Snap to Smith, looks over the middle, has
Nice
a receiver.
catch. Great time. You know,
Catch and hit.
Smith has a good good arm. I mean, he's been right on the money with his throws.
Abdul Rahman on the catch, out to the 48-yard line.
2 minutes to play, a little more than that in the game. Goffstown leads 34-17. So Goffstown will pick up its first win of the season, and they'll go 1-3. Concord is they're gonna fall even at 2-2.
And still plenty of time left in this division. Plenty of consequential games to go. Good time to go on a run for both teams. Smith out into the flat.
And tackled by Wilton Geisenheiner.
Nate Vandersea on a catch, a gain of about 5, 6 on the play.
So next week looks like Goffstown plays Memorial.
Goffstown has Memorial next week, another winnable game.
Is that home or is that away?
Not sure.
Yeah.
I feel like that's got to be there. I think they were here
Let me see
last year.
Goffstown versus Memorial. Oh boy, let me see that.
New coaching staff at Memorial. They've been competitive in some games this year, unlike years past, but I don't think they've did they manage to win one yet?
What a throw!
Smith
Wow,
with a
he
good
has got an
ball.
arm.
Yep. Good ball. Sophomore quarterback.
Well, what I
looking
like,
good.
I mean, this tight spiral.
Yep. He throws a nice ball. I mean,
Yeah.
double coverage there.
Yeah.
A lot of these guys on the field now for Concord underclassmen.
Yeah.
What they're going to be losing next year is really that tandem of Malachi and Gladdy.
Yeah.
And hopefully they can get those guys back before the end of the season, because they'll be a tough team to play for anybody in the division.
And there's no doubt about it that, when you lose a player like Gladdy, big game changer,
Yeah, and even going into today, no Malachi and then Gladdy going down. That's a tough blow.
Yep.
Fortunately for the Crimson Tide, both of those look like fairly minor injuries. So
I agree.
They'll be going through a tough part of their schedule coming up.
Last couple of plays here.
35 seconds to go. Smith rolls out. He also looks good rolling out. He throws it deep. He's got
and batted away at the last minute by number 9, Mike Levesque.
And Thrasher was the intended receiver. That's a great football name.
That was a good play by Levesque. I mean, that's called, he's playing the ball.
Yep.
And didn't try to go for the interception, just went to bat it out. You see a lot of times players go for the ball, it goes through their hands, and the other guy catches it.
Yeah, especially on defense in the end zone. This time and score, knock it down.
My prediction is that you're going to see a lot of Mike Levesque, and you're going to see a lot of Elliott Smith next year.
Levesque deep at safety. Throw by Smith and great
what a hit!
On the hit by Dennis.
By Dennis. Putting the lumber down.
Timed that hit well.
Woo! But look at him. He looks like he makes a monster hit, and he comes up and he's like, hey, what are you guys doing tomorrow?
Yeah, it doesn't really
no emotion.
Nope.
I mean, that's one of the best hits of the day. Timeout, Concord, 7.5 seconds left. I want to thank you, Steve, for doing the game with me in Alan's absence. And I know, always, we cannot do it without our cameraman, Broden McCune. So thank you, Broden, for all that you do and with these productions. It's been a good day for Goffstown. It was a real rough start, Steve, of the season, but they looked good today.
I'm going to take a little bit of credit and say that, being in the booth here and getting
good
one
luck,
win,
that's
there
it.
could
Alan
be
is done.
Yeah.
His contract is over. I'll call him up today. He's been released from his contract.
It could go either way. Maybe it's not me that's the good luck. Maybe
it's Broden.
Yeah.
No, but Broden has done camera before. He's like experienced with this stuff.
Camera producer.
Yeah.
Great lineage, the McCune household.
Yep, the family McCune.
Yep.
Yeah. The McCunes, they do everything. I mean, they're like beekeepers. They got a lot going on. So after the game, we're going to head down, and my partner Steve will interview a couple of the players to be named later.
Smith drops back. Last play of the game, most likely. It's deep to Gage Pewarzik.
He almost had it.
Oh,
they're going to call
interference,
which I think is his back was turned. I could have sworn, though.
I don't disagree with the call. Maybe the timing of the call.
Yeah.
0.4 seconds.
I could have sworn that that the rules changed, that if you have your back to the quarterback, that it is not pass interference in high school football.
It's not necessarily.
Yeah.
I mean, just because you have your back turned to him, if you don't make any contact.
Yeah.
There obviously was some contact
ahead
of that.
He almost that ball was just right on the money.
Yeah, I think Concord does have a quarterback of the future here, and
you see some of these. I mean, let me see. They do list them. So let's see here. Number 12, Trevor Smith, sophomore, 5'10", 155. Right.
Sophomore.
So and then you look at Elliott Smith, same thing. He's 5'11", 159. So
similar type quarterback. Both can run and roll out.
So
maybe not quite as good as their, the number ones right now, but give them some years to develop.
Right. So the question is that are these guys going to put on 10, 20 pounds of muscle?
They usually do.
Yep.
Stack receiver set. Last play of the game.
0.4
seconds.
Wide open.
Wide open. Fill 40.
He drops
and
it.
it's incomplete.
And that's the game, folks.
Incomplete pass to Derek Kelleher.
So with that, Goffstown picks up its first win of the season, a score of 34-17 over the Concord Crimson Tide. I want to thank my partner, Steve. Thank you so much for today.
Good win, great day.
And thank you again, Broden. And we're going to call it a day up here, and we'll meet you down at the field. Thanks, folks.
I'm with Evan Cuddy. Great job on the defensive line today. Good to get the first win.
Yeah, it felt great. It feels great.
Yeah, I bet it does. I mean, what was the difference for you guys defensively today?
We worked hard at practice. All through the week, we busted, we grinded, and it paid off.
I mean, you start off the season, tough start, obviously. Yep. How do you guys get refocused in for this week, another tough game?
A lot of it just has to do with the chemistry that we have. Like, it was a lot of new kids on defense this year. Now that the chemistry is coming together, and I think we'll be ready. We've got to work hard again.
Right, and now, I mean, think about what's going on in the weeks ahead. Are you guys, what are you thinking about for next week and the week after that? I mean, if you can get some momentum now, anything's possible, right?
Anything's possible. Definitely, we just got to work hard.
All right, great work today, Adam.
Thank you.
All right, I'm with cornerback Charlie Keith. Great game today, especially on the ground. What's the difference between the last couple of weeks and this week?
Well, blocking was an issue to start, but I just want to thank them for stepping up their game, working hard this week, and excelling at what they had to do.
And you probably recognized early O-line winning their matchups. A lot of keeps for you on the ground today. How do you make that decision in terms of when to pull and when to give that zone?
To start of it, their DNs were sitting and then waiting for that give because they were understanding the read concept. And as soon as we got them to eventually bite on giving, just once in a full moon we get to pull it and see where it goes.
In the backfield, you got two very different runners in Stinnett and Juno. How do you guys work together during the week? What's your process like and how well do you guys get along?
Well, we spend a lot of time together on and off the field, so there's that chemistry. Majority of our practices were shoulder to shoulder. Like, we're discussing things, what to do better, what went wrong, and that's where the chemistry's built, and that's how we get it done.
Right. Ball security, an issue in weeks past, but today seemed like better job. Is that just getting comfortable offensive line in with your running backs?
Oh, definitely. There's a chemistry that's been forming the last 3 weeks, and we haven't peaked yet. We're going. We keep going.
All right, and that's a really positive outlook, and I think you got some winnable games on the schedule.
Thank you.
So keep it up.
Appreciate
Good job. I'm with senior Nick Fragos. Obviously we took some guys on the defense today because you guys stepped up. What was the difference in terms of this week versus previous weeks?
I think it was a lot of reacting to what they were doing and studying really hard this week, especially watching film. Just working hard every single day in practice. Everyone doing their jobs.
You got a guy like Zach Miles who's tough. He gets outside of the pocket. Changes what you have to do defensively. How do you make adjustments to that?
It's hard to react like that, especially when you're trying to go in another direction. It's just everyone sprinting to the ball as fast as they can, getting in a big pile. That's how tackles are made.
And a lot of work done on pursuit and angles. The defense just looked totally different tonight in your approach.
Yeah, like I said, we do a lot of pursuit drills and a lot of things that just emphasize everyone getting to the ball. We have struggled with that in the past. I think we did a lot better today.
Great job. Great job. What do you guys think going forward? You get some games ahead that are on a schedule. You're going to keep building off of this or what?
Yeah, I do. I think we've been improving every single week, and I'm excited for the next couple weeks. I really am.
Great bounce back today, and great job. Keep it going.
Thank you, man. Yep.
All right, I'm with senior running back Josh Juneau, one of the duo, Stinnett and Juneau, future law firm I think we have there. You guys are a little bit different style runner.
Yep.
What's your style in terms of hitting the hole?
Just north-south, just hit the hole fast, hard, low.
That's what we were talking about in the booth. We call you North and South Juneau, right? Because you get in that hole really quick. What were you seeing in terms of your matchups on the offensive line, and what did that allow you to do?
Our offensive line did amazing. They blocked. They got the linebackers, made awesome holes. Just
right, and it seemed like whether it was you or Charlie or Jack, able to get yards after the contact.
Oh yeah.
How do you practice that? How do you work on that in practice, finishing runs?
We just pursuit drills, hit the hole, stay low.
Yeah. So what do you think? Big differences this week offensively in terms of your scheme or what you did to prepare.
We just worked hard all week in practice. We got better on defense and offense too. Just being better.
That's great. Yeah, it definitely showed today. Complete performance on the offensive and defensive side. Great job today hitting that hole.
Thank you.
Getting north and south.
Thank you.
Good job.